It's time for a redo. Powder coating provides the toughness you need. Preserve your investment with powder coating from River City Coatings. River City Coatings, certified John Deere, Caterpillar, ISO 9001, Packer, and UL provider of tough. River City Coatings, 471-7675 or online at rivercitycoatings.com.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
Switching is easy. We do it all the time. We switch on the lights. We switch TV channels. Some of us switch partners while square dancing. Well, that's a stretch. But what's not a stretch is how you can switch and save with State Farm. In fact, State Farm agent Heath Roberts right here in the River Valley can switch you over so you can start saving today. Heath and his team are ready to welcome you to the State Farm neighborhood. With Heath Roberts, it's easy to switch and save. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call Heath Roberts at 479-452-4088.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Tonight, mainly clear skies. An overnight low will drop down into the mid-70s. We're right back to sunshine on Tuesday, mid to upper 90s. Front's going to barrel in Tuesday night into Wednesday, increasing the chance of showers and storms. Highs upper 80s north, mid-90s south. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
Flash to 321-321.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 44 days. Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. Ask me if I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah.
People said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. What's my heart, dog? Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
But they even one Razorback. And vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Good morning and welcome in on the second day of SEC Media Days. It is halftime on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Olson here, Matt Jones, of course, and Christian Johnston in the producer's chair. Got you for 3 hours here on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com, and an action-packed show today. Probably going to set our show record for number of guests. Ty Richardson and Tommy Kraft will both be kicking in with us for a little bit from Radio Row. We'll be talking with voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, in just a little bit. Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio. Matt, there might be a little bit of air for you and I to say something every once in a while on the show today too. But we've got more guests that we could shake a stick at.
It's going to be a fun Tuesday. Sugar Ray said you don't get paid by the word. That's right. So let's be interesting and let's have a good show. It'll be fun today.
We've already heard from Kirby Smart, from Josh Heupel as Georgia and Tennessee got things kicked off. And Dallas this morning, Brent Venables will represent Oklahoma. That'll be the first of the new schools that'll come in. That's a little less than 2 hours away. So it's a lunch break right now at Media Days. And get to hear from Missouri's Eli Drinkwitz later on in the afternoon at 2:20. I think if you're looking at the quality of the teams, the quality of the programs, this is probably the deepest of the Media Days as I look at this. You got, I'd say you got a couple teams that really do have, maybe 3 teams that have a good shot at making the college football playoff, looking at Georgia, looking at Tennessee, looking at Missouri. Heck, you might even throw Oklahoma there on the list. Looking at who you had yesterday and tomorrow with Mississippi State and Florida, kind of programs that are, I wouldn't say in flux, but certainly not in winning ways, and a couple of programs that are trying to get back into winning ways on Thursday. I think this is the deepest day if we're just looking at the potential success for these programs this year. Georgia's got to be on the short list for SEC champion and national champion. Tennessee still looking to take that little step forward to make it to the playoff 12, and you can't count out Missouri this year with the schedule and the idea that they're pretty darn talented too. Might actually have the most talented player in the SEC in Luther Burden.
Well, what position does he play? What's
wide receiver?
Okay, because Phil, that running back they lost. I'm not as high on Missouri as everybody else is, and I get it. Their schedule probably leans favorable for them. But when you lose a stud running back like that, you're going to have to find that. That helps your offense go. That's what we were talking about last year with these Razorbacks. Why can we get a running back that can get us 100 yards a game? They had one. They had an elite running back, and that's why they were able to. That's one of the reasons they were able to be so successful. I think they come back down to earth a little bit unless they can find that running game again.
So those who we'll hear from today. Home Run Derby was kind of fun yesterday. I took that in. My favorite part of the broadcast last night, Matt, was listening to Ken Griffey Jr. talk about being a power hitter, winning the Derby 3 times, why he started wearing his hat backward, and some of the stuff that he was talking about where power comes from. But yes, Teoscar Hernandez wins the Home Run Derby, but all anybody can talk about is not the distance of the home runs, is not the attractiveness of the stadium and the crowd inside Globe Life Field. It was apparently the worst Star-Spangled Banner in a number of years. I wonder how this happens. I know they played it on the Morning Rush this morning. We don't need to pollute the airwaves with her version of the Star-Spangled Banner over these next 3 hours. Ingrid Andress is the young lady's name. She's been nominated for 4 Grammys. She's a country star out of Colorado, and I don't know who she is. I listened to a couple pieces of a couple songs earlier this morning after I listened to her version of the Star-Spangled Banner. The girl can sing, so who knows what the heck happened. Either she decided she was going to do a version that would cross people's eyes, that she thought might be a little artistic, or she was incredibly nervous and that affected her performance. But if you're a star out of Nashville, you've performed in front of big crowds. Or she was stoned out of her mind. I don't know, because it didn't sound very good.
I didn't get a chance to hear it. I saw when it was coming on. But, yeah, the national anthem is almost it's not a time to get jiggy with it. You're supposed to do it and a little respect when you do it. But who knows? Like I said, I didn't hear it.
It was it kind of started a little bit weird. She did miss one of the words early in the song, but I think that's one of the words where people sometimes just flub it without realizing it. But as it went along steadily, it got worse and worse. And then at the very end, it was potentially one of the worst endings I've ever heard. I mean, I've heard the national anthem.
Carl Lewis.
After doing well, I thought of Carl Lewis.
But he's not a singer, though. So so I kind of put them.
Neither was Roseanne Barr.
Exactly. So, but people that are singers, then you're like, well, you kind of expect a little bit higher quality.
Right, like sometimes you'd never know. Like you put a non-athlete on a pitcher's mound to throw out a ceremony of first pitch. I mean, you might get something that looks a little bit ugly every once in a while. You put somebody that's a 4-time Grammy-nominated singer, you'd expect that it's going to sound good, but it didn't. So that's it. It's amazing to think of the things that can upstage a fun event like last night. Which is singular too, you know, the home run derby. I mean, it's different than any other sort of skills competition in which you've got, you know, 5 or 6 other competitions happening in tandem. This is just one thing. They're not figuring out who can throw the ball the farthest or the hardest, or who can run the fastest. It's just about hitting home runs, and that's all. That's what people love. Well, that's what a lot of people love about baseball. But it got upstaged. But you can never get upstaged by a great national anthem like the Whitney Houston Super Bowl anthem, which is probably the most famous ever sung in the United States at a sporting event. That led to a great game.
Chris Stapleton, the one where he didn't even sing, where he just played it on the guitar, that was OG. You can't forget Hendrix's. I mean, when I know that was not at a game, but to me, that's the best national anthem ever done.
Well, it certainly made you. You were already standing. If you heard it, take notice. Absolutely.
Don't you
Cross
think?
Your eyes.
Yeah. Don't you think if you're a singer, just go a cappella? If you're singing the national anthem,
yes,
just go up there, sing it a cappella. If you're a guitarist, just let the strings make the noise
and get it in and out. You know, like a minute 30,
under
minute
90
45.
seconds. Yeah,
she got it in about a minute 40, but it was like the last 30 seconds. You're thinking, what song are we listening to here? I've heard some bad anthems. A lot of them at minor league games that were performed just by, you know, regular people. Nobody that was a professional singer, just a fan, or just, you know, someone that was a sponsor and asked if they could sing the anthem. You said, well, if you know the words and you can hit the tune, sure, go for it. It just doesn't compute very much.
If you're at the ballpark and you hear the national anthem, do you stand? Yeah, right. You stand and you.
Oh, absolutely. I stand to take my hat off.
Respect a little bit. Yeah, exactly. I learned that lesson like in 4th grade, Phil. I was a ball boy for my dad's football team, and the national anthem's going. I think I'm going to get some extra throws in. No, you're not going to get it.
No. Don't do
You're
that.
going to stand here and show respect. That's right.
It's not the time to be, you know, even like walking around in the concourse. Either.
No,
that's the thing. I stood in line before to get a hot dog, you know, when the anthem's playing, and then you see the people in front of you like, well, they're still conducting commerce the American way, right? And I'm thinking, I guess we can wait maybe 90 seconds. You got your All-Star first pitch at 7:00 tonight. Paul Skeens will get the start for the National League less than a year after his professional debut, which came last August.
40 pitch limit? Like what's like seriously?
One inning.
One
inning.
So 30, yeah, just 1 inning, 3 outs.
Whatever 1 inning is, in and out.
Yeah.
If it gets to 30 pitches, that's probably 10 too many. It's you know, that's the thing about the All-Star game. I mean, it is baseball, and they play it the same way, with the exception of, well, you know, your starting pitchers in Major League Baseball these days might go 5 to 6 innings. You're not going to see Skeens go any more than 1 inning. You got to get the other guys in there too. So, and we do air the game tonight on all of our various ESPN Arkansas affiliates, and it'll be a 7:00 first pitch.
You think they ever go back to where it means something, where whoever wins the National League or whoever wins the All-Star game hosts the World Series again?
Gosh, I hope not.
You hope not? Yeah.
I hated that. All that was to try to, you know, it was supposed to be some sort of an answer for the All-Star game that finished in a tie and embarrassed Bud Selig in front of his home fans in Milwaukee. I would much rather that the World Series home field advantage depend upon who's got the better record. That seems to make a little more sense to me. I don't know how you make this game mean anything more, because all of the other All-Star games now, the meaning has just become less and less and less. And heck, I mean, you don't even really have like a real football game for the Pro Bowl any longer. The NBA All-Star game, you get close to 200 points. And in the NHL, I mean, who's really hitting in an All-Star game with hockey? So it's just something to gather around and have fun with it. It seems to have meant a lot more years ago, but to artificially inflate it with the thing I don't like about putting the All-Star game in charge of who has the home field advantage is that, I mean, theoretically, a guy that's playing for a last-place team could therefore have an impact in a game that he's not playing against the team that's leading the league. You know what I mean? He could have an impact on who hosts the World Series and therefore maybe who wins the World Series. I just think it's a bit of an outsized influence in a game that isn't designed to mean that. But I'll put it on. I'll watch because it's fun. Mid-season classic. Don't have anything else going on tonight anyway.
I just want nobody got tacos though. We're gonna have to find a way.
That's right.
Teoscar.
Teoscar Hernandez.
Yeah.
That's right. I had Paul. I had Pete Alonso.
I had the hometown guy, the Texas
and
kid.
you had Bobby Witt Jr. So you
no. I had the guy from the Texas Rangers.
Oh, all right. You had Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
That's too bad too, because Witt's really the hometown guy. He's from Coffeyville, which I think is or Colleyville.
Where does he play his ball?
Royals.
The Royals.
Top overall pick from the 21 draft, and man, it was all set up there for him too. You know, he had the extra rest because Alec Boehm and Hernandez went to the swing off, and I mean the only drama really was that swing off and whether or not Witt's last at bat was going to clear the fence, and the last pitch. He hits it halfway up the fence in more center field than left field. He just hit it to a deep part of the ballpark. So otherwise, they'd have gone to a swing off. You know, that's what made it dramatic. Outside of that, it was, I didn't have one of those like really memorable moments like Rodriguez hitting, 42 home runs in a round last year, or Josh Hamilton with the record that he set, or Vladimir Guerrero and Ripken, or any of those moments. It was just kind of fun stuff. And we've got fun stuff planned for you on halftime too today because we have Chuck Barrett coming up in just a moment. We'll take your calls and texts when we get a couple of segments in with Chuck at 877-377-6963. Halftime, we'll be back right after this.
They were so convincing in their argument, they swung me.
This is halftime. ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
Get up to $6,000 off on the 2024 GMC Sierras, or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,000 off, or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith. The good old summertime is here, and Jelco Outdoors is ready to help you have a great time. Going fishing? Jelco has one of the largest selections of fishing equipment and gear for your day on the water. Taking a vacation? Jelco has a great selection of casual shirts, shorts, and comfortable shoes to make your vacation one to remember. Fall is not far away, so start getting your bows and guns ready for fall. Jelco Outdoors, your store for all season. Have a great summer. From Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith.
Pay attention, this happens fast. You're on the forklift in your warehouse when it breaks down. You call Medley Equipment Company. Talk to Debbie.
Hello.
Debbie tells you they'll get you moving again. Debbie talks to a service tech.
Yep, I can do it.
Tech says when they can be there. That nice Debbie lady calls you back.
Hello.
Saying your forklift will be fixed in a few hours.
Nice.
Pretty fast, right? We're just trying to keep up because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Are you tired of processed meat and flimsy sandwiches? Subchain's gotten to your last nerve? Then I have the place for you. Come see my buddy Josefa at Lily's Sandwich Shop in the Bakery District in downtown Fort Smith. Locally sourced meat sliced daily and fresh breads from Harvest Moon Bakery. Daily specials announced on Facebook, including the Poke Bowl every Friday and Saturday. For to-go orders, call 479-567-3403.
My name is Lily. My papa makes the best sandwiches at Lily's Sandwich Shop. Come by and see him at the Bakery District today.
If you are involved in a divorce or custody case, you want an attorney you can trust to guide you through the process. The attorneys at Hickey and Hole Law Partners have over 7 decades of combined experience. Hickey and Hole have seen and heard nearly every scenario you can imagine, ready to put that experience to work for you to get the best results. Visit KevinHickeyLaw.com or give them a call today, 479-434-2414. Hickey and Hole Law Partners. Things are about to get better.
Colorworks Paint and Body in Barling offers professional automotive painting, bodywork, and fabrication that is unsurpassed in talent and dedication. Owner Andy Harrod uses the latest in collision repair technology to ensure all damage is addressed, whether it's visible or hidden, and works with all insurance companies. Andy and his crew have the experience and commitment to give you complete trust in the repair of your vehicle, no matter the size of the job. Colorworks is located at 1206 Fort Street in Barling, across from Dollar General, and is on Facebook, where you can check out their work.
Brothers Roofing and Restoration, a licensed and insured local roofing contractor in Arkansas. Since his playing days for the Hogs, Brother Alexander has been on rooftops, many years as an adjuster, and in the past decade as a roofing contractor. He knows how to help you through the insurance process while replacing your roof using only the industry's best materials. And being a lifelong Arkansan, he'll be here to stand behind his workmanship and warranty. Call 479-353-3877 to arrange a time for Brother and his team to inspect your roof.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
In a movie show, there's been thoughts. Just don't make it hold to me off.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
The voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, is with us for a couple of segments on a Tuesday morning here on Halftime, day 2 of SEC Media Days. Chuck, how you doing today? What's new?
Well, I'll tell you what's new is I put in my application to sing the national anthem at one of the World Series games because if that chick could get it last night, I'm in the hunt, man.
Have you ever performed the anthem in front of people before?
Well, no, absolutely not. But I could have done better than her.
I think you could have done better than her. I've done that a few times, and look, I'm not a recording artist or anything like that, but I will say that's the most nervous I've ever been before. I sang at an opening day at Razorback Baseball, a few Travelers games, a bunch of Rookie League games too.
I didn't know that.
I did. I know the words, I can hit the notes and everything, but I get nervous before I do a radio show. I couldn't even feel my legs walking out to home plate to try to sing that. That's not easy.
You know, you see it, and I do too. And Matt, you've been on the floor and at the basketball games where they walk out. Sometimes you can literally feel the nerves, you know, across the floor. Other times they walk out, and you just know they're going to nail it by the way they walk out there. So, yeah, it's a scary I say, yeah, it's a scary deal. Like, I know. I would, first off, never be asked, and I certainly wouldn't be asked back. But I don't think that girl will be either from last night. I'm so old. I didn't realize she was a recording artist. So I didn't realize that's what passed for a recording artist now. But,
nominated for 4 Grammys. That's the thing that doesn't make any sense.
Hey, maybe, what does it take to win a Grammy? I don't know.
That's right. Maybe it was based on her guitar playing, not her singing.
Well, look, she's going to get made fun of. We're not the first, and I know that she probably didn't plan on it to go that way.
Yeah. So it's SEC Media Days, Chuck. I've not been to one of these before. You know, we got Ty Richardson, we got Tommy Kraft that are there, and even Ty has said, Texas isn't there today, but Oklahoma is there today. And last week I remember you're not throwing out the welcome mat for Texas and Oklahoma, but those two guys have told me both is that it feels like it's a very large welcome mat this week.
Oh, I'm sure it is. I didn't have any doubt it would be. There's so much history in that city between Texas and Oklahoma. They've been driving to Dallas and yelling at one another, as long as they've been playing football. So I'm sure there is, a welcome mat for everybody else in the league. And, hey, I've always said this, that I'd rather go to the Cotton Bowl than any bowl. They do roll out the red carpet in Dallas, and they know what they're doing, and that's why our people have enjoyed going down there so much over the years. So I'm sure they're having a good time.
How do you think, what are your expectations for Oklahoma? Phil mentions they're there today. It seems like, Chuck, that everybody's talking about Texas. Texas is in the SEC, and it's almost like kind of Oklahoma's the afterthought. Oklahoma a chance to make a splash and get 10 wins and make the playoff 12 their first year, you think?
Well, I certainly wouldn't rule it out. I mean, they've had a lot of success over the years. I'm not going to sit here and say I don't think Oklahoma is going to have a good year. I don't know if Oklahoma is as well prepared in the trenches as they're going to need to be to, end up in that spot. And Texas is going to have to deal with this too. Texas may be a little bit better prepared in that regard, but they're going to have to deal with this too. You're not going to get to play a big game, a big conference ball game, and then have a couple of weeks where you can be a little bit less than par and still win the game. You're going to have to play well every time out, and attrition's going to take over up front. It just does. Matt, you know this. I mean, a guy may play, but if your left tackle's got a high ankle sprain that week, you're going to have a tough day. You may win, but it's going to be a tough day. And I want to see Oklahoma and Texas go through the attrition of the SEC. That's what I wonder about with Oklahoma. And that's why I think, just to be blunt, that maybe their success, because Oklahoma's had a good record against SEC schools, and Texas hasn't been bad either. But most of the time it's been like a one-off. That's, you play them in a bowl game, or you play them early in the season before the toll of a conference slate, comes to bear on a team. So I think all those things are going to come into play. But in my heart of hearts, no, I don't think Oklahoma is going to be a playoff team. But neither do I think they're going to be in the bottom half of the SEC. I think they're going to win a lot of games.
They're one of these teams where the trend. I was going to look. I know they used to have Dylan Gabriel as their quarterback. He transfers out,
right?
Yeah, goes to Oregon. So they bring in Jackson Arnold. He had just backed him up for the season, and he goes out and he starts his first game in a loss against Arizona in their bowl game. So it's one of those instances where they're able to get a jump start on next year by last year's quarterback opting out, though I'm sure they would have liked to have Gabriel stay with them.
Well, you look at Oklahoma's schedule and look at what they've got to do. Their conference opener's at home, but it's against Tennessee. Tennessee's good, and it's going to be a Josh Heupel homecoming. They're going to play that Red River rivalry. They got to go to Auburn. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they've got to go to Ole Miss somewhere along the way. Maybe, and then they got to play LSU at the end. Oklahoma's going to play a schedule like they've never played before.
One of the you look at blue blood programs that have switched conferences and what has happened to them afterwards.
They've not been as good.
Everybody can point to Nebraska as really like a fearful story because they haven't been anywhere close to what they were in the Big 12 or the Big 8. Looking at, think of Miami. Miami was dominant as an independent. They were still a dominant program in the Big East. They moved to the ACC. They really haven't been what they think they are in a long time. It's tough, and we'll see what happens with all of these changes in conferences this year, talking big conferences, but that's one of the things to look at. I mean, it's, Texas and Oklahoma, those are the blue bloods out of the league they're leaving.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I saw something. It's been 6-8 weeks ago. I think we talked about it on the Morning Rush maybe. The teams that have switched Power 5 conferences, particularly the ones who've moved up, so to speak, and I think going from the Big 12 to the SEC is a move up, nobody has improved their conference record. I think maybe with one or two exceptions, and it's not the Powers. With one or two exceptions, everybody's conference record has gotten worse. in the new league that they've gone into. Neither Oklahoma nor Texas are going to have the SEC winning percentage that they had in Texas's case, the Southwest Conference and then the Big 12, or in Oklahoma's case, the Big 8, then the Big 12. Neither one of them are ever going to have a conference winning percentage like that again. That's going to be hard for them to accept going along. Doesn't mean they won't get in the playoff, doesn't mean they won't win national championships. They may. But their conference winning percentage is never going to be the same. And it's going to be a much, much different road for them than I think they imagine. Texas has come in with a lot of swagger. If swagger won you national championships, though, Texas would win it every year. But they've not won it in a long time. So that's not what wins championships. It's maybe what wins media days. But that's not, with all due respect, that's not much of a prize.
877-377-6963. If you want to get on the horn, we'll take phone calls. We can read your texts after a very quick break. The voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, still with halftime for another segment, and we'll be back right after this.
Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit smoking.
This is Halftime. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now. ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage. Presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Get up to $6,500 off on 2024 GMC Sierras or $4,000 off and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,500 off or $4,000 in discounts and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable only your own Kubota hay equipment can be. Bale your hay when it's ready, not when it's burned up. With economical pricing at Gray Brothers and affordable interest rates from Kubota, this year is the year to bale your own hay. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit GoPaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
Do you want to see the Dallas Cowboys take on the Philadelphia Eagles at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas on November 10th? Can you eat a Monster Burger in 150 seconds to qualify for the football trip of a lifetime? It's the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and HitThatLine.com. Go to HitThatLine.com for more details and let's secure your seat at the table.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles. 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Maybe you love me, now baby I'm sure. And I just can't wait till the day when you knock on my door. And every time I go for the mailbox, gotta hold myself down. Just can't wait till you write me your coming around. Walking on sunshine, walking on sunshine,
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Got the voice of the Razorbacks, Chuck Barrett, with us as well as we work through our first hour here on Halftime. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts if you want to get with us here on the show. And we got a couple callers that are here on hold right now. Let's start with Mike. Called us from Grove, Oklahoma. What's up, Mike? How are you today?
Morning, gentlemen. How are you guys?
Hey, Mike.
Great, thank you.
Yes, I just had a comment as a Sooner fan, born and raised. Most Sooner fans, we have no illusions of what's going to happen in the next year or so. You know, we may be surprised, but most of us are realistic. We understand why they did it and what they needed to do it for recruiting purposes to get better defensive backs. But my main comment is regarding the respect being shown Texas, and I don't quite understand because they've got a bravado like Alabama, but an Auburn case like a trophy case like Auburn. So I'm just kind of mystified by that. But anyway, I take your comment.
I hear you. I don't think that's an out of bounds comment, and I've wondered when the Oklahoma fans were going to start saying that, because you do hear a lot more about Texas than you do about Oklahoma. That's for sure.
Well, right, I mean, it's not like that's going to stop until there's reason to show.
Who is Oklahoma's biggest rivalry, Mike? Who as an Oklahoma Sooner fan, is it Oklahoma State? Is it Texas? Who is y'all's biggest rivalry?
Texas, without a doubt. Without a doubt. I mean, Oklahoma State fans like to think it's them, but truly it's not.
Yeah.
Texas. I've got two favorite teams, OU and anybody who plays Texas. So
it's not a rivalry until one side thinks they're a whole lot better than the other. You know, Texas and Oklahoma Texas thinks they're a whole lot better than Oklahoma. They do. And that's why I'm going to be honest, guys. As a kid, when Oklahoma and Texas would play, I'd always pull for Oklahoma.
Is Oklahoma and Missouri both Big 8 schools, Chuck? I know you said.
Yeah, they are. They're both Big 8
in schools. My mind, I think Oklahoma and Missouri could be kind of some type of a rivalry as well.
Maybe. Things beyond the obvious, like Oklahoma, Texas, Alabama, Auburn. South Carolina and Clemson, even though they're not conference rivals. Once you get beyond the obvious, those things have to be developed.
Yeah.
And for there to be development, both sides have got to win. There's got to be a controversial ending. I felt like there for a few years we had a chance to develop not a bitter, legendary rivalry, but we had a pretty good rivalry going there with Auburn for a few years. And I kind of wondered what might happen there. But, we got to win some games. I mean, that's the thing. But as far as Oklahoma and Texas go, I know Oklahoma fans have had their fill of Texas. They've had to put up with it just like everybody else has in the Southwest and then the Big 12.
Mike, I could see something develop with Tennessee. You guys already had a really fun home-and-home series with them a few years ago.
And they got your guy. They got Heupel's
thing going on, too. It's two programs that, have national aspirations again. And, there might be some question marks. I could see that. Plus, it's also about, who you playing this year and next year, too, because the schedules are the same in the conference. That's why I'm a little – look, I love Arkansas's playing Texas, but I was kind of excited to see when they get OU the first time, but I got to wait a couple years.
Well, one thing to think about when Oklahoma hosts Tennessee in their conference opener, those are two teams who have expectations of either sniffing the playoff or being in the playoff. Certainly in the discussion.
That's a big game early, Chuck.
That is a huge game early.
Yeah.
And, it will be a homecoming for Josh Heupel. But beyond that, it's a big, big football game for both teams.
Saban said yesterday on SEC Network that he counts maybe 6 to 8 teams that he believes might have a shot, whether it's an outside shot or a real shot. SEC teams at making the playoff 12. I count 6 of them on Oklahoma's schedule. I don't know if he meant OU was one of them, but just looking at this schedule, they got Tennessee, Texas, Ole Miss, Mizzou, Alabama, LSU. And I'm just guessing that these are 6 teams that probably Saban might have been thinking of. You can make a case at all of them. It's always going to be a tough schedule. Look, Texas has a schedule that's not too different from that. OU, Georgia, maybe Oklahoma's schedule is a lot tougher than Texas, Chuck. I think that's the truth.
I think it is. Now, the one thing that Texas does have to do is they've got to go to Kyle Field. And, of course, they've got to come to Fayetteville. That's, they get Georgia at home. But, Texas is not going to have it easy, but Oklahoma's got it more difficult. I mean, you can just look at that schedule, and it's not hard to figure out who's going to have the best conference record at the end of the year. At least I don't think it is.
And remember, you get the same teams next year, too. 877-377-6963. Sooner Kid is in Bentonville. He called us here in halftime. Hey, Sooner Kid, how you doing?
Great. It's a beautiful hot day here in Bentonville. How you doing, Chuck?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I wanted to confirm the sentiments of the gentleman that called in from Grove, Texas, is our rival, and I want to quote someone a long time ago. There's an irrational exuberance about that program.
I think that's what you're referring. Hey, I think you can encapsulate that in 3 words. Texas is back, right? I mean, that was kind of the joke over the previous 13 years up until last season. I think that encapsulates your thoughts right in 3 words, Sooner Kid.
Well, I look at the Big 12. It wasn't really the tough conference as the SEC. We all know that. We're not naive about that. We know the SEC is going to be a dogfight every game, but in the 20 years there, we won 14 championships. I think Texas won 4. I think if you look at Sark's record right now against Oklahoma, if he's so great, he's 1-2 against Oklahoma. The only year he beat us, we didn't have a quarterback. Dylan Graver was knocked out. We always come to that game knowing we're going to beat them. We don't say we think we can beat them, just like when they go to Fayetteville. I promise you, if they get past Georgia and Arkansas and that stretch that they've got, that's not an easy stretch for them. They got to play Georgia in Austin, then they got to go to Fayetteville. I don't want to go to Fayetteville and play the Hogs. 80,000 Hog fans, I don't want that.
Hopefully by then the season's gone in a really nice direction for the Razorbacks. A couple wins that aren't expected, and there'll be 3 games left by then. If that happens, I think it'll be one of the crazier atmospheres we've seen.
Oklahoma finishes Alabama LSU. I mean, wow, right?
Yeah.
That's a chance to earn your keep right there.
And that's after you've already been to Ole Miss and Auburn, played Tennessee at home. I mean, that's a murderer's row this year. Here's the thing, and Oklahoma and Texas are finding this out, and as the callers have indicated, these are not naive football fan bases. They got a lot of football knowledge. But it's like playing a New Year's Day bowl game every week. And, you look at, and I remember when we came in the league, every opponent every Saturday, those are the teams you used to play in bowl games, generally pretty good bowl games. So it's going to be much different, and it is going to be a war of attrition. But, I will say this about the Oklahoma-Texas rivalry. Lots of times you can say you can throw out the records. Well, you really can't. There's a big brother and a little brother, and big brother usually wins. But Oklahoma-Texas really is one of those games that one team can be 0-4 and the other can be 4-0 or 5-0 and 0-5, and you still don't really know what's going to happen. And it's going to add to the SEC. Their rivalry, we've picked up on it pretty quickly, and we've known already that they don't like each other.
We don't want them to like each other when they're coming in, too. It's kind of fun to
Well, we don't want them to like the
insults going around.
Razorbacks because that means the Razorbacks have been beating them. They only like you when they're beating you. So we don't want to be liked either.
You're going to hear from Coach Pittman and 3 players on Thursday, Chuck.
Yeah.
Feels like there's now who knows what kind of questions come in, but there's going to be a target on Coach Pittman in some cases with some media members. I think in the way that some questions might get phrased, it's just going into this season, the whole idea now is win to save Sam Pittman's job and keep the program, hopefully turn it around from what happened last year. And I think some of those questions will probably start on Thursday. Won't necessarily come from here, from you, but it'll come from maybe members outside the Arkansas media.
Well, it's the easy narrative. It's no matter your level of knowledge about the team or the personnel or what may or may not happen this year. I mean, everybody, from as far away as you can get, looks at it and you just look at the records and, you'd have to say to yourself, that guy needs to win some games this year. And he knows that, and everybody else does too. And I'm sure he will be questioned about that. But the idea that Sam Pittman or Bobby Petrino or these players that I think fans get the sense sometimes, oh my gosh, there's got to be an extra sense of urgency. They're gonna keep plugging, they're gonna keep grinding. There's a sense of urgency every day with those guys. But yeah, I'm sure that'll be a topic of discussion. And every time Arkansas loses this year, they're not going to go undefeated. So every time they lose, somebody's going to bring it up again. And every time they win, people are going to speculate about whether or not he saved his job. So that's just kind of how it works. And it'll start this week. You're right.
We were kicking around yesterday about wide receivers and overall pass catchers, thinking about Andrew Armstrong led the team in receptions and in yardage last year, in touchdowns. But I think there's good receivers at every level. The two tight ends that we talked about yesterday have a ton of talent. I can't wait to see the step that they can take forward as long as they're healthy. And then thinking out of the backfield, I know Jaquindon Jackson probably leads the team in rushing, but is Rashad Dubinion potentially the best pass-catching running back for this team?
I don't know. We're going to get a chance to find out because I think they'll utilize those running backs as pass catchers. I look at one guy that's a tight end and one guy that's a wide receiver, Tyrone Broden and Luke Hasz. I think Hasz was in the process of developing into the best freshman tight end in college football last year. And I think he'll be one of the top 4 or 5 tight ends in college football, period, this year. And that is going to be a weapon that I can assure you will be utilized in their game planning. And they've got to have somebody step up at the wideout spot and be a big play, big game guy. Broden's got the build. Armstrong's going to be fine. Armstrong's good, but there's got to be some help there. And I want to see what Broden can do. I thought there were flashes last year where Broden showed he's got a chance to be really good.
Chuck, what do you think about Travis Williamson year 2 being the D coordinator? Not a lot of talk. I think he showed well in season 1, his first year up there on the hill calling the shots. A little bit late in the year, but it's understandable the way college football is now. What are your expectations for Travis Williamson this year?
Well, here's what I'd like to see from the defense. I don't think it's going to be a shutdown defense. I don't think we're going to be talking about, teams averaging 2 yards a rush, and struggling to, break the Mendoza line for total yards. I don't see that being this type defense. What I hope is that they're a defense that can force turnovers. I don't think you've got to be a great defense in terms of shutting the other guys down, winning every play at the point of attack, so to speak. I don't think you've got to be that type defense to pick some passes off, to force some turnovers. I think they've got to be opportunistic. Third down percentage is going to be really, really important. Can they get off the field? I think they'll bend a good bit, but they did last year too. But ultimately, you just can't give up touchdowns. And I thought they were fine in that area last year. I don't think that's the reason the Razorbacks were 4-8.
Chuck, we're up against it, so we'll leave it there. Appreciate you, man.
All
We'll
right,
revisit
guys.
next week.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Thanks, Chuck.
Chuck Barrett with us each Tuesday, the voice of the Razorbacks here on Halftime. Remember, it's Taco Tuesday today at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Crispy dollar tacos all day long. $3 for the 8-inch beef or chicken burrito. Just under $3 for the pork carnita tacos. Add another $1 for the pork belly tacos and brisket tacos. That's all day long today. Dine in only at Joe's Grill and Cantina. Find them at 3400 South 74th across from Harps in Fort Smith. joesfortsmith.com. Back to wrap up hour number 1 of Halftime in just a moment.
This is Halftime.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodi's.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swart Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swark Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swark Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in DeQueen, Arkansas. Swark Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video.
New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Hi everybody, Larry Rath here for Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center with exciting news. Backed by popular demand, state sales tax paid when you trade on our huge inventory of Road Ready certified vehicles. That's right, this month get the best used car your money can buy, Road Ready certified with warranty, and get your state sales tax paid when you trade. One more reason all the happiest drivers are rolling with Rath. Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, just north of Phoenix on Towson, Fort Smith.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Feeling down. I don't know if I want you around. I don't want
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Well, a little more than an hour. The final 9 rounds of the draft will start getting going, and these picks happen rapid fire. It is one right after the other. You waited a few minutes between picks in the first and second round. It might have been about 30 seconds, 45 seconds between picks yesterday, maybe a little bit more, and it is going to be one right after the other when we get through it today. And congratulations going out to Peyton. We mentioned Peyton Stovall yesterday because he was drafted as we were on the air by the Reds, 117th overall, 4th round. Mason Molina goes 7th to the Brewers. Jared Sprague-Lott, 9th round to the Athletics. Just a few picks after that, 9th round, Razorback catcher Hudson White. And then Ben McLaughlin, the last Razorback to get picked yesterday. So that does leave a few players that are still eligible for the draft and wondering about what will happen today. Kendall Diggs, Jake Faraday, Brady Tigert, any one of those 3 players could return. And as far as the high school signees go, there's still just only one that has been picked, and that's the shortstop Tyson Lewis out of Nebraska. Carson Wiggins and Cole Gibbler are still available for the draft. So, and I'll tell you what's been really interesting is, like, I looked at the Cardinals, and there's a few other teams that in their picks yesterday, they didn't pick any high schoolers. You know, there's a few teams like the Pirates, 4 of their 10 picks were high schoolers, but on average, by far, since this draft went to 20 rounds, you just don't see a lot, anywhere near as many high schoolers going straight to pro ball. I think a lot of teams view specifically the pitchers out of high school as more of a risk than they're willing to take, and I think they'd rather the colleges take on that risk for at least the next 2, 3, 4 years.
How cool, draft day, special moment for all these kids. You know they'll remember it. Phil, I'm a Hudson White fan. I know I told you that earlier. Where did he end up going? What do you think what's his route that you would see 3 years before he's playing big league ball? What kind of you see the pathway?
Hudson went to the Red Sox.
Okay.
Now remember with Hudson last year, there's it took him a while. It took like 2 months before he really started to get going. And I see a guy who can turn on a pitch inside, might have a little trouble going the other way consistently. I do wonder if Hudson will hit consistently to be a starter on his way up. Good receiver, good catcher. And that goes a long way sometimes to, sticking around, not just even Major League Baseball, but pro ball for a long, long time. I think Hudson could stick around in pro ball for a long time. A couple cups of coffee in the major leagues here and there, potentially. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts as we get into the second hour of halftime. And we will start hearing from our people who are at Radio Row. Ty Richardson stops by in just a moment, so stay with us.
This moment of relief brought to you by your local State Farm agent, who also brings relief with all your auto insurance needs.
Call Heath Roberts at 479-452-4088 for a free quote today.
COP CDL Academy is a licensed Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration that provides the federal required training to obtain both Class A and Class B CDL licenses. Our program provides assistance with employment after graduation. We have finance and grant options available. Students straight out of class have started new careers earning $70,000 to $140,000 per year, and training is provided for all 50 states. Call today, 479-632-1050. COP CDL Academy.
Riley Farm Dental, at the entrance to Riley Farms, provides every type of dental care and procedure for you and your family, from general dentistry, braces, implants, and cosmetics. Dr. Sparkman, Davis, and Farmer give all of their patients better lives with a better smile, more confident, and a comfortable experience every time. Riley Farm Dental, 5901 Riley Park Drive, Suite A, at the entrance to Riley Farms. Now offering same-day crowns. Call 226-3500 for an appointment or visit RileyFarmDental.com.
Has your job been grinding your gears lately? Then let me tell you about Lavorne Lumber. They're looking to fill a regional over-the-road position. They use brand new equipment in your home every weekend. Don't think you're getting paid enough? That's not the case at Lavorne Lumber. They're highly competitive in that area. So if this sounds like a great next job opportunity for you, then stop by and see Pam and the Bills Monday through Friday from 9 to 4 at Lavorne Lumber. 515 Phoenix Avenue in Fort Smith, and online at Lavorne, LOVVORN lumber.com.
Do you need gutters but think they're too expensive, or that you need to get the soffit or fascia ready? No worries. Call the Gutter Guy. He does it all. No need to call multiple companies to get the right gutters for your home. Call the Gutter Guy. Quality, low maintenance, leak-free gutters with a 5-year warranty. The Gutter Guy also does vinyl siding and windows. The Gutter Guy. Over 30 years experience. Call 226-1259. Call the Gutter Guy.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine, a hot one. Highs in the mid to upper 90s. You factor in the humidity, it'll feel closer to 110. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms across the north tonight. Overnight lows in the low to mid 70s. And then a better chance of coverage of showers and storms on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 44 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Why can't they dominate? And we not doing it.
We're going to go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field.
Yeah. Take it to the house.
You both said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Even one Razorback. It's vintage Matt Jones. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back. It is hour number 2, halftime. ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson, Matt Jones. C-Movie is in the is in the studio as well. We will be assigning C-Movie a movie sometime by the end of this hour, maybe by the end of the show, because we got ideas about this. We will tie it into the national anthem at the Home Run Derby yesterday. And Matt, when's the last time you've been to the? I'm assuming you've been to the DFW Metroplex quite a bit. I've been there. I mean, I go there for baseball last season. We were there for the football game as well. I love visiting DFW. You just got to make sure you're not like on the freeway too often about between the hours of maybe 10 in the morning and 3 in the morning.
I like Dallas. I've been to you're talking about the airport there? Are you talking about the baseball stadium?
Any other part of it?
I've seen
I don't like going to the airport necessarily as like being in the city.
I've seen a Rangers game. I've been to 2 Rangers games, one in the new park, one in the old park. Got to see Steve Nash when he was a Dallas Maverick with Michael Finley. They were playing. It was back when the Bulls selected Tyson Chandler and Eddie Curry, like 1-2, and their 2 first-round picks. They didn't go 1-2, but both of them in the first round. But Michael Finley, he could go get it. That's for sure. So I've been there around Dallas. I love Dallas. Dallas is cool.
It's a lot of fun. Ty Richardson's at Radio Row right now in Dallas at SEC Media Days. But have you just kind of stuck around the hotel and everything? I mean, I know you drove over there, so it's not like you got to stick around the hotel. What have you been up to outside of watching everybody speak?
Well, the ESPN put on this preview of this documentary with Saturday Night Lights, and it was kind of the origin of SEC football last night in the Dallas Theater, which was quite cool. Yes, the same Dallas Theater where they caught Lee Harvey Oswald, which Tommy wanted to make sure I understood the historical significance of that. But, yeah, just eating, doing a little drinking on the open bar tabs, and I do have a suggestion, though, Phil. You're talking about halftime homework. I brought up a former halftime homework assignment of mine this morning. Have you assigned Big C or C-Movie Basic Instinct yet? I feel like he needs to, because you saw Sharon Stone recreated that scene, right?
I did. I saw that time. Yeah.
You saw that, Matt?
Yeah, I did.
You mean current Sharon Stone recreated
like
the scene?
66-year-old Sharon Stone recreated the Basic Instinct scene.
So, C-Movie, do you know of the movie we speak of? Do you know of the scene that Ty refers to?
No, but I've heard you guys talk about it before.
Michael Douglas.
Ooh.
Mrs. Triplehorn.
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. I introduced Ty to that, but it doesn't have anything to do with this. So I was able to tie last night's Home Run Derby anthem to one of the greatest anthems that has ever been performed, and assigning a movie from a movie that the singer in one of the greatest anthems ever performed was in. I mean, we got you here, Ty. We can talk a little football, I guess, but might as well bring this up anyway. So, and it's too bad because I had the Dashboard Light song by Meatloaf queued up to play, but we got Ty. We're talking about it anyway. There's no Ty. You guys played Ingrid's national anthem on the Morning Rush. That's pollution of the airwaves. So I'm going to clear the airwaves here with potentially, now everybody points to the Whitney Houston national anthem. May I show you, or at least let you hear, Meatloaf, Three River Stadium, 1994 Major League All-Star Game.
Let's go.
Do anything for love. I won't do that.
Say, can you see my rosary light? What so proudly hanging at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched, who were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets singing. Oh, the night that a flag was still there. Oh, sing us a bad star smell by the way. Oh, the land.
Okay, now that's how you do it. That's how you do it. I was sitting there at that when he's saying this song there. I was at that All-Star game in Pittsburgh in '94.
Those pipes, that's opera stuff right there.
That's how you do it,
Oh,
right?
my
We don't need to
goodness.
pollute the airwaves with what people are referring to as potentially the worst anthem of all time. You need to put out the good ones. There you go. And that can lead to the halftime homework because of Bob and Fight Club and C. Brooks, C. Movie, C. Unit, whatever we call him, has
Fight
never
Club
seen
needs
Fight
to be
Club.
on the list.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that is a good recommendation. Big C, you will love that movie. That is a Edward Norton, little Brad Pitt. That's fantastic.
Pixies, Where's
Hot
My
Club,
Mind?
Los Angeles.
Little at the end of that. Yeah.
That's right. I mean, so that's how it's done. Now, keep in mind, like this is when Meatloaf, I think he only put out like 3 or 4 albums. This one came around the time of, I think you might have whispered the lyrics just a moment ago, Matt. Do Anything for Love. Yes. I mean, that was about the time that came out, right? 94? Pretty sure of it.
A great Dr. Pepper commercial. Yes.
And that might have been the greatest baseball game I ever witnessed in person. 10 innings. Oh, let's see here. The American League had won something like 10 or 11 All-Star games in a row. They're leading by a run in the 9th inning. I'm sitting right behind third base, 5th or 6th row. It's Fred McGriff.
The
Hits a
crime dog.
game-tying home run off Lee Smith down the right field line, sends it into extra innings. And then keep in mind, the Pirates manager then is Jim Leland. He's coaching third base. And who was it at first base? As Tony Gwynn gets on base, I forget how, against Jason Beret, Moises Alou hits a screamer off of the left center field fence, and Leland sends Gwynn around third base, just beats the throw, getting his left foot into the 5-hole between Pudge Rodriguez's legs to send the place crazy. I think it was the greatest thing I've ever seen in person as far as like a game that didn't mean anything. But those people, that game meant something. And so did the anthem that day.
Oh man, I can tell you, you literally laid out every detail of that play. So that's stuck in your craw all these years later, man. That's awesome.
And the
One
way
of my
Lee
favorite
Smith
aspects.
wore his hat, that's how I always try to wear my baseball hat.
Oh, you mean Fred McGriff? It was like up, right?
Yeah, well, both of them. I liked Lee Smith. Usually had the box hat on, kind of old
Yeah.
school. Like I dug it. St. Louis Cardinals. Yeah,
Oh, he played for, and I think he was with the Orioles.
he was with the Orioles then.
And McGriff would have been with the Braves. I'm pretty sure by then. Started with Toronto, went over to the Braves too. Yeah. Well, you might as well go to the All-Star game tonight now, Ty, since that's all I've brought up here in this segment.
Yeah, Tommy and I were kicking that around earlier. Listen, I'm going to be honest, Phil. If I was with you, like if we ever did one of these things together, and you wanted to go, I'd go with you. It just like the Derby and the All-Star game doesn't do it. Like I will watch the American League Championship Series and the National League in the World Series, of course, but I just regular season and this minute, I don't even watch the NBA All-Star game anymore. I guess, and much less the Pro Bowl, which isn't even a Pro Bowl. These weekends just don't necessarily get me going like they used to 10 years ago.
My favorite thought, and I know we've brought this up before, you and I might have talked about it too, Ty, was that there used to be a football game with the college all-stars against the Super Bowl champion that was, I think, a charity game that you played in Chicago. I think it was might have been one of the first preseason games for the Super Bowl champion, if not the first preseason game.
Uh-huh.
But, man, we need to do that with, like, college basketball. That would be fun.
I'm in.
I'm sure you would. Just
That
trying to find ways to make these all-star games feel a little bit different than they do now.
Yeah, and I remember Tommy was talking about it yesterday, like Bug Selig trying to get the guys to play harder and stuff, and I know there's money incentives and whatnot, but there's always now people were scared about being injured is more rampant than it's ever been before. It's just a tough ask, but you've got I would guess the television right deals are baked into all that, so you have to have it. Just curious to see if we ever come back around on those things being as big as they were back in the 90s and early 2000s in some cases.
So let's see. You've heard from Kirby Smart and Josh Heupel this morning. We've been talking a lot of Oklahoma because Brent Venables is speaking in about 40 minutes. And then Eli Drinkwitz. I guess we can just expect he'll take some kind of a pot shot at Arkansas because it's Eli Drinkwitz.
Oh, yeah. I bet he comes, I wouldn't say guns hot, but if he's going to come guns hot towards one team or one university, it's going to be Arkansas. And he's like single-handedly keeping this rivalry alive because like Arkansas's not winning these games. They've won, I guess, twice, once in the Bielema era and then once in the Pittman era since Missouri joined the league, which is, again, it's not good. So you're trying to get back on the right side of things with Missouri, and you just have been unsuccessful. And they're going to be, I mean, they might be a 10-win team at that final game of the season. Maybe a 9-win team trying to get to 10 wins. So I think that game, unfortunately, is going to matter a lot more for the Tigers than it is the Razorbacks, but I hope I'm wrong on that.
Ty, what's something you've learned from any of these teams out here that you didn't know going before you got down to SEC Media Days?
I would say, like, Oklahoma enters the league, and like Phil just mentioned Venables, I think Oklahoma's going to have a capable defense that can actually keep them in ball games. I don't know if that offense with young Jackson Arnold is going to be able to walk into certain SEC stadiums and get them wins. But I think people will be surprised that we think of Oklahoma the last, 2 decades, Matt, as a team that's only been offense. But I think Venables is trying to do it from the defensive side. So that would be probably the surprise, the taking away from most people thinking that, Matt.
Yeah, you got to have a defense. There's no question about that to win in the SEC. I know yesterday I was throwing around, what would you ask some of these Arkansas guys? And a lot of people want to talk to Taylen Green. That's kind of who you want to talk to, Ty. What's something that you want to find out, or what's a question that you would have for Taylen Green?
I think the question is, hey, do you feel like you built enough of a rapport in not even a full off season with a guy that you're coming with, Andrew Armstrong, and the rest of the pass catchers? Because for whatever reason, the offense was way out of sync last year under Dan Enos, and obviously he's known Bobby Petrino since high school. This is the first time he's actually played under him, but does he feel like he's built enough of a rapport with that offensive line and the wide receivers where they will be capable offensively? And he would probably just give a very generic answer, as most quarterbacks do, but I wonder if you could get anything like out of that, maybe who he's built the most rapport with, to give you an idea who could lead the team in receiving this year.
That's the first AI. The first AI is Allen Iverson. The second AI is quarterbacks. They program you exactly. You're right, Ty. You don't give too much bulletin information if you're a QB.
Yeah, I mean, think about, I know you had to do this back in the day, and you were probably told things before, some of the questions you'd be asking stuff, and most coaches just want you to give coach speak, and that's probably what we'll get from Taylen, Armstrong, and Landon this week, because you can't really boast, unfortunately, because of how last season went. So just stick for the normal generic stuff, I guess.
I like your comparison of quarterbacks to artificial intelligence. That means we're going to have to start in the huddle now. Well, there's no huddle now, but you just have to, anytime you speak to Taylen Green, or heck, when I talk to you, Matt, I'm just going to have to start the sentence with chat. That's what the kids do now, because they're talking to Chat GPT. Thank you for introducing us back to the kids.
See, I don't
it's
even
like conversing
know.
with Ty
I
every
don't know
once
what
in a
chat.
while.
You say chat before you say start a sentence. Yeah.
My daughter does this. She'll say chat, ask me a question and start it with chat. It helps to have teenagers so you can kind of stay up to date on what's cool.
Tommy just motioned to me and said his kids do that too, so you're in the same camp, Phil.
Absolutely.
I learned something today. See, there you go.
That's called knowing what's cool without being cool. And we are all over that here on ESPN Arkansas on all three shows. Ty, appreciate you, man. We'll visit with you next week, okay?
All right, boys.
Tomorrow.
That sounds like a plan.
Thanks, Ty.
Stay out of the bars. 877-377-6963 if you want to get with us on halftime. Our coverage at SEC Media Days presented by WT Equipment, your New Holland dealer for over 50 years. WT has earned the trust of the hardest working people in the country. Go to WTEquip.com. WT Equipment, your partner in progress. We'll be back with more halftime in just a minute.
This is halftime.
Together we stand as tall as the Tower of Old Maid. Our memories are etched in stone like names on senior walks. and our blood flows Razorback red. For 100 years, we've been hog wild, and today we continue the tradition. We are Arkansas Razorbacks.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
The tires on your vehicle go round and round, but when they don't, go to Van Alma Tire. They have tires in their name. That's their specialty. Van Alma Tire is all about tires. They have all the name brands and private labels available for you and in stock. So when it comes to getting tires for your ride, it's worth the drive. And financing is available. Ask for details. Whatever your tire need, check out Van Alma Tires on Highway 64 between Van Buren and Alma. Ready to get you rolling on new tires at Van Alma Tire.
What's new at Wheeler Power Sports? Short answer, a lot. All new Kawasaki Ninja 500, Z500, Eliminators, and Mule Pro Diesels. New Kawasaki Ridge side-by-side is now arriving. New Polaris Expeditions and Ranger XD 1500s. New Suzuki GSX 8R. New 2024 model Polaris Slingshots, including the Roush Edition, are now in stock. Check us out online at WheelerPowersports.com or stop by and see us at downtown Fort Smith at 901 North 11th Street. Wheeler Power Sports, keeping the good times rolling since 1967.
Whether it's torque, horsepower, or just extreme work, diesel trucks do their job. But when your diesel truck needs maintenance or repair, it's time to head to Extreme Diesel. Everything from standard maintenance to extreme repairs, including injector testing. Extreme Diesel delivers. They have the tools and service for your Cummins, Duramax, or Power Stroke. You trust your truck to deliver on your needs, and you can trust your truck at Extreme Diesel. 6630 Alma Highway between Van Buren and Alma. Check them out on Facebook or give them a call at 651-3363. They're bilingual, now offering CP4 solutions for both Chevy and Ford.
Waiting on someone to bale your hay? Come in to Gray Brothers Equipment and let us show you how affordable only your own Kubota hay equipment can be. Bale your hay when it's ready, not when it's burned up. With economical pricing at Gray Brothers and affordable interest rates from Kubota, this year is the year to bale your own hay. That's Gray Brothers Equipment in Fort Smith and Poto, where if you pick orange, you'll never get a lemon.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Hi, this is Melissa with True Grit Running Company. Is someone special to you missing out on life because of foot pain? Let's face it, if your feet hurt, you don't want to go anywhere. Give the gift of freedom. Check out our store for all kinds of options to benefit your special someone. We have perfect gifts for those suffering from a variety of foot issues, such as plantar fasciitis, bunions, tendonitis, diabetes care, neuropathy, or just tired and achy feet. Visit us today at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
Little thing as if it happened only yesterday. Walking by the lake and there's not another car inside. And I never had a girl looking any better than you did. And all the kids at school, they were wishing they were me that night. And now I'm come on, hold on tight, oh, come on, hold on tight.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at Hit That Line AR and on Facebook and Instagram at Hit That Line. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Yeah, so there's part of your homework assignment for the weekend. Unit C Loaf. We'll go in that direction. How about that? He's never seen Fight Club, and Meatloaf was in Fight Club. He did play Robert Paulson. He had a nickname which we will not refer to here during this segment. And you'll remember that movie I don't think you'll ever forget it. Now I've seen it twice. It's been a while, but I probably need to watch it again. And Matt, I think the way you described about Fight Club during the break there, that I think hits it pretty perfectly. How did you put it?
Well, most movies in which it's Lou's Tavern, I'm and Lou, it's right. Like, can we keep it, Lou? Can we keep it, Lou? Get it out, Lou. Get it out. It's it starts and it's good. The middle, it's good. The ending is good. Like, it's the whole time. It's a whole vibe. It was a movement. I mean, you had What Would Tyler Durden Do was a website that was thing that was. And just the whole, the changing of, technology, it kind of got a little Train Spotting feel when you're talking about materialistic things and the whole what's important to people in your mind and how to live. So it's got a little bit of that going on in it, but it's got Prime. I mean, what is that? Peak Brad Pitt? I mean, that one's
pretty much
the highest of his powers.
It's got that tear the whole thing down mentality that you don't realize is happening.
And then your other boy that was in Jared Leto, but he was in the movie we just saw him see with Christian Bale, the best comedy ever, American Psycho. So yeah. Jared Leto, same thing, C-Unit. He was in American Psycho. He gets chopped up with an axe. What do you got, like a little chow or something that goes around here? He gets to go to Fight Club, and then Edward Norton, which he, once you watch the movie, you'll understand it. And he's like, I just wanted to destroy something beautiful.
And there's a moment where you realize something's happening that you didn't realize throughout the movie near the very end that will leave your tongue hanging.
Oh, I love those.
Sorry, I'm not even going to give you any more hints.
You might watch it tonight, C-Unit. Yeah,
I love.
You might as well. It's worth it. But I'm really glad that you've seen that movie, because if you hadn't seen that, and I was going to stick to the Meatloaf theme, then I was going to have to assign you the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I think that might. I don't know if you'd come back into the studio after watching that. So I didn't want to really assign it, but on the other hand, it would have been kind of fun to see if you did show up again.
We'll get another Jared Leto movie next week, Requiem for a Dream, and that way you have 3 Leto movies. And the first time I watched Requiem for a Dream, I was in college. I turned it off after 25 minutes. It was too real. You're like, oh my goodness, I don't want to watch this anymore. And it's a good one.
So Helena Bonham Carter is also in. She plays the female lead in Fight Club. Wasn't she connected to Johnny Depp for a long time?
Sacha Baron Cohen, I thought. Sacha Baron Cohen.
That's right.
They were married. Yeah, Borat.
She's been in movies with him.
Yeah. Absolutely. Depp. She was in Ocean's 8, the girl version of. She's a rock star, man. She's an absolute rock star.
She's a Galactico.
Yeah, I'm returning some. I'm returning some genes.
877-377-6963 for calls and texts on the McClarty Daniel hotline on our hotline.
She is a Galactico.
That All-Star game, I almost, so Meatloaf saying at the All-Star game in '94, 10 innings. I don't remember how he got the tickets. 7th row behind third base, something like that. Played an American Legion game earlier in the day. I had 6 hits in that game. That was quite a day. But my father, how many of you had to battle against this? When you go to a game, Razorback game, Naturals game, Travelers game, whatever, go and see the Cardinals. You go and see the Cardinals and you leave from Arkansas, you're going to stay to the very end, right? I grew up like 10 minutes from Three River Stadium. My father's a dentist, and so he had a practice to run. When that All-Star game went into the 10th inning, he looks at me and he says, "All right, let's go." I'm like, I was 17 years old. By then, I wasn't dropping F-bombs at my dad. That might have been the first time. You're like, no, we're not. What do you think? This happened. When's the next time you think we're getting an All-Star game here and it's going in extra innings? What is wrong with you, man? I did convince him to stay at least for one more inning, so we did see that great moment. All sorts of people Dad wants to leave early. Beat the traffic. We'll listen to it on the way back. Ain't the same thing. Regular season game, maybe. I get it in some cases. All-star game? Playoff game? Playoffs? No way. Stay to the bitter end. That's what I got to do. You might as well stay too. Yeah, Ryan in Prairie Grove is right. You're not supposed to talk about Fight Club.
First rule.
And we did it on a 4-station network too, so that's a little bit dangerous. Hey, it's kind of interesting looking at the Razorbacks that were taken in the draft yesterday. Didn't have anybody taken by the Cubs. We did have Hagen Smith selected by the White Sox Sunday. You realize there are 10 players connected to the Razorbacks who are with the White Sox and the Cubs. You got 5 in each organization.
It's either the Razor Sox or the White Backs, whatever you want to do. The Chicago Razor Sox, yeah.
That's right. And you would think, well, so there's 2 other areas that have 2 major league teams. I'm not counting the Bay Area because I don't count the Athletics. But in Los Angeles, Dodgers and Angels, and I know they're different cities, but to me, they're called Los Angeles. There's only, I don't think there's anybody. Well, there's nobody with the Razorbacks that are with those teams. Yankees and Mets, you have 1 player in each organization from Arkansas. Yet the White Sox, there's Benny, Dominic Fletcher, Michael Turner, Hagen Smith. It would be cool that the 2 of them are in the same organization. That means Turner should catch Smith again at some point. Peyton Paulette's with the White Sox. With the Cubs, you get Drew Smiley, Connor Noland, who got a promotion at AAA yesterday, Christian Franklin, Casey Opitz, and Jackson Wiggins. So, I mean, maybe there's something about like being in the middle of the country. I don't know, a Midwest team or Midwest City, and you get Arkansas with 10 players split between those 2 organizations. And one guy that stood out to me yesterday in the draft was the 3rd-round pick by St. Louis, Brian Holiday out of Oklahoma State. We saw him against the Razorbacks in Arlington on that Saturday, that game that went 10 innings and Oklahoma State won 2-1. Holiday pitched against Arkansas, 6 innings, 1 run, 2 hits. It was really good. This is a guy who had no college offers coming out of high school in Florida. He's not Holiday like related to Coach Holiday at Oklahoma State. He had no offers, none. He was a walk-on at junior college, going to Florida Southwestern State, which is the same school, by the way, that Arkansas signee Justin Thomas is coming out of. Thomas wasn't drafted yet, so there's somebody who still could make it to campus. So he goes from literally no offers out of high school, had to walk on in junior college, and then, is very good in JUCO, gets to Oklahoma State. Now he's a 3rd-round pick. You got to love that kind of stuff. I always think to myself, I was a good high school player. I never got any offers. I didn't try to walk on into junior college. Would I have been able to be a 3rd-round pick? Probably not. But it is a bit of not a cautionary tale. It's like, well, you might not have any offers coming out of high school, but that doesn't necessarily mean that 4 years later, some major league team is not going to view you as a prospect. I think that's really cool. Brought to you by Crabtree RV Center today in Alma. As always, the dealership that served the River Valley and Northwest Arkansas and been doing it for over 70 years. They're at the junction of I-40 and I-49 in Alma, right beside the Cracker Barrel, helping every family find the best RV for your adventures. Service and parts department is on site. Everything that you need in between at Crabtree RV. You can go to crabtreerv.com as well for more information. Going to stop and visit with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation. She's in Dallas right now. We'll talk to her after this.
This is Halftime.
ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group.
You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
It started as a dream, and here you are. It's moving day. But wait, isn't moving supposed to be stressful? Oh, that's right. You bought your home using Weichert Realtors. Your Weichert agent guided you from start to finish to help make sure we found you your perfect place. Dream, move, home, Weichert. Call your local Weichert Realtors office today and make your move. And look for our bright yellow signs. At Weichert Realtors, we sell more because we do more. Each Weichert franchised office is independently owned and operated.
Need assistance with door and window projects? The Home Depot can help. From inspiration and materials to ordering and installation, our free Millwork virtual apron service can get you moving and doing. Plus, we speak Spanish too. Our associates can help you tackle complex jobs without you leaving the job site, saving you time and money. Call us at 1-833-HD-APRON or visit homedepot.com/MVA. The Home Depot. How doers get more done.
This is halftime.
Walk-Ons is always a win.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swart Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swart Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swart Liquor, 864 East Collin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swart Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas, more than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab. C'est bon, sacalé.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse.
Some serious crappie.
Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite, white perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
We spent about 10 minutes here with Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation live at Media Days in Dallas at the Omni Hotel. Alyssa, how's your stay in Dallas been so far? Are you enjoying yourself?
Well, I'm actually back home. I shipped Courtney and Evan and Jacob to Dallas because I feel like if I had to come home and told my husband that, hey, by the way, the week before I step on an airplane for a month and leave, I'm also going to leave for Dallas, I might not have a husband anymore. So I let them have some fun, and I'm currently driving my kid home from junior golf camp.
I think I got to remember the things you tell us the week before. I think he's told us that last week, so I had to write notes down or at least like listen to segments. I can't remember everything that's said over 3 hours. We got to wish a happy birthday to one of your coworkers and somebody that joins us on Mondays, Mike Irwin. Birthday today. How do you think Mike Irwin celebrates a birthday?
Well, knowing Mike the way that I do, he's probably sitting at home doing something around his house, fixing something, working on something, repairing something, and maybe Mary will convince him to go out to dinner tonight with the family.
But before 5 o'clock, though, you know, if we're gonna go, talking about beating the traffic, you know, go get it in.
Yeah, and if it's Mike, he's probably like he's a big like teriyaki kind of guy. He loves like teriyaki sauce, the Asian. So I feel like it's something like that they're probably going to take him out to eat tonight.
So the media members that are going to media days, like they got to pack for 4 or 5 days. The players and the coaches, they just wear a suit onto a plane. They'll be putting that in the laundry later on in the night that they put it on in the same house that they put it on at. How long are you going to be in Paris for the Olympics?
About 3.5 weeks. I come back on August 12th. I leave Sunday. So I've got to pack for almost a month.
That sounds like a daunting task. So I usually do the most I'll pack. And I've been on the road for as long as kind of like a full month, maybe 2 stops at home in the 2022 college baseball postseason. But I only go like 7 days at a time. I'll do some road laundry. The difference is when I do road laundry, Alyssa, it's somewhere in the States. Are you really packing for 3.5 weeks worth of clothing?
No. So luckily, they've made it really easy for me. We've got some NBC Paris Olympic polos. We've got some Next Star polos and News Nation polos that we're going to be using a lot for our stuff. So I'm just going to have to pack a little bit of the basic, and then luckily we'll have a couple laundry days for me to wash some of those polos, and making it really easy for me. So hopefully nothing too crazy.
So they got a Cur Royale, and I know that Phil's really on this Negroni kick, and they got a French 75. Those are the 2 in France. So you got to try both of those for me, Alyssa, and let me know how they are. I know that I've had a French 75 actually in Little Rock. It was at some place down there. So I don't know if you've had one of those before, but they're pretty they're fun. You know, it's like champagne and fresh lemon juice. And yeah, you'll have to try it out.
I didn't realize that.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to take some photos of those.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that you're gone on Sunday. I mean, like this.
I leave Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, you got this assignment. Wasn't it around January, December that we started talking about you headed to the Olympics? Because that's when we knew that it was happening, and now it's finally. I won't be able to speak to you while you're there, so this is the last chance to talk to you for about a month. I mean, you gotta be really excited more than anything else.
I am really, really excited. Yeah, we've kind of been, I found out about the assignment last August, so it's almost been a year. And, you know, we've been working on stories and just planning. And, you know, I'm just trying to make sure that I have everything that I need. And I've taken care of everything that I need to before I leave for the States. And I am excited. I have to remind people, I'm still working. Like, I still have to work.
Yeah.
My schedule's like 11:30 in the morning to 1 a.m. Paris time. So we're going to grind out there and do some really cool stuff. But I'm really excited for the opportunity.
Well, and also, like, so while you're there, your assignment is the Olympics, right? But you work for an organization in Pig Trail Nation where everybody else that you work with is going to be focused on Razorback football. And then when you come back, it's like you got to hit the ground running. It's not like you can read what you got to read and everything. It's just you'll be. It's going to be a lot going on. You know, once you get back, it's just this next month has got to be one of the craziest months of your life.
So I'm probably going to be paying more attention to my teammates' coverage of August camp than anything else or any time in the past, only because I've got their goal is to not only inform Arkansas fans, but me in Paris, what is happening during August camp with the football team, so I can come back from Paris a little bit more prepared than when I left. I'm going to miss it all.
You will miss it all. That's premier, preseason getting ready kind of a thing, like going to media days too.
Yeah.
If you had the chance and you would be at media days and you had a question to Coach Pittman, what would that first question be?
Man, that's a great question. I really want to know more about Talon Green. You've got Talon with him. And we talked about it a little bit last week of putting, your best foot forward and winning the press conference. But I want to hear from Pittman how Talon Green has changed the program in the couple months that he's been there, from his attitude and the culture, and like exactly how has the locker room adapted since he got to campus.
Yeah, and how that can play out over the month after that too. Landon Jackson, Andrew Armstrong also in attendance there. We think Armstrong could end up being a guy that potentially could be an all-SEC, whether first, second, third team. Jackson, I think, he ought to be first or second teamer.
You remember Justin Tuck, Alyssa, or Phil? He played for the Giants. That's kind of who Landon Jackson. He's not necessarily this speed edge rusher guy. He's more of a run stopper, but he can get to the quarterback when he has to. He's kind of. I think he's really built well for the next level because he can do both things. He can really defend the run and he can get to the quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, he can. I mean, he's just really versatile, and we've really seen him grow since he's come to campus and transferred from LSU. And so I hope he gets the recognition he deserves, because I know that you guys know, too, that sometimes these good players on teams that are struggling or didn't have a great year the year before are sometimes overlooked because other guys who might not be as good are on teams that have won a lot. And so I hope that Landon Jackson is kind of given his due, and it works out for him, because he's a kid that I think could be a game changer on that defensive line.
You think that this team can stop the run at a high level? They had some moments last year, but then, in the last month, things kind of all crumbled. You got a lot of experience here. Keevy Rose, Eric Gregory, Cam Ball, looking at guys like Nico DeVilliers, who could probably take a big step forward this next year. You get some young players. Maybe Charlie Collins shows up and immediately has an impact. I'm still very interested in Ian Gaffard, who's lost 20 pounds off for 40 pounds last year. It feels to me like defensive line this year could be a strength for Arkansas.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And I would be shocked if it's not, because of the way that they played for the majority of last season. And you're right, it kind of slipped a little bit towards the end. But the guys that they have coming back, they're talented and they're deep. And we know what Deke Adams can do with that group. So I think that they're going to be part of the defense that has the most success, and I'd be really surprised if they don't, and if they're not really the strongest unit on the team overall, because they're going to have to figure it out. That's how they're going to have to win games, because we still don't know much about this offense. It's this defense that's going to have to do a lot of work, I think, especially early on, to help win some ball games in those first couple of weeks.
That Oklahoma State game, you're going to find out a lot about them. You're looking at the rest of the league that you're facing this year. Look, there are a lot of really great passing attacks. They can run too, but I don't know if they'll face another team that quite, can run the way that Oklahoma State, basically off of the same 4 plays runs Ollie Gordon. So it's not like that makes your season, but it'll give you a sense of what you got on the line.
Well, yeah, you look at it, and especially those first 4 weeks, I get that the first game is a home game, but it's in Little Rock, so it's really a road game there with UAPB, and then you've got Oklahoma State, and then you're back at home, and then you're on the road again at Auburn. So those first 4 weeks are really, really important, and I think it's going to show us a lot.
Definitely will. We're up against it here, Alyssa, so we'll leave it there. We'll miss you for the next month. We've had you here on halftime for.
I'll send you photos on WhatsApp.
Tuesday.
We'll even play your song at least once. We got to play your theme music at least. Yeah, we'll have a tribute. We'll have a tribute segment.
Thank you, guys.
Alyssa, bon voyage, and we'll revisit once you're back stateside. Okay.
Au revoir. See you guys later.
Au revoir. Very well said. It's Alyssa Orange, Sports Director, Pig Trail Nation. If you want to react, 877-377-6963 for calls and texts. I've been envious of Alyssa since we knew that she got this assignment, and now it's really hitting. But it's also hitting me. It's like I started going to, I don't know why I even looked for it, but I started looking around for my passport the other day. So I'm like I've been nesting here in the summertime, signing a lease to stay at this house another year. And so I'm just like trying to make sure I know where everything is. Can't quite find the passport just yet. So it's out there somewhere in this house, not outside the house somewhere, but it's never the thing that you're like, where is my passport? Yeah. Good luck.
They do their 10-year passports. I got mine in 2015, I believe. So I'm going to have to go get a new one next year. I don't know what do you got? 6 months before it's due, you can go get a new one, or how does that work? So. Yeah. You got to wait. I still got to wait a little bit.
Either that, or you got to know somebody that can get you an appointment at the passport office in Hot Springs. We've got a very special passport office in Hot Springs, Arkansas that helped me out once before. I think I've run out of chances for more help from them, though. We'll be back to wrap up hour number 2 of Halftime after this quick break.
This is Halftime.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names. And tractors that weigh more, do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
Pay attention. This happens fast. You need money. You get a job. Turns out that job doesn't pay near enough for the nonsense it puts you through every day. You want to move fast, but the clock moves slow. You're smart, though. You know machines. You want to work at a place as fast as you. You call Medley Equipment Company. They need a technician, and they'll teach you everything you need to know to be the best, with pay raises all along. Because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm Branch Manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
The Wave Rural Connect Shoal Creek Zone is open. Fast fiber internet, TV, and home phone available. This covers Midway, New Blaine, Scranton, Delaware, and other areas. Even if this isn't your zone, check your address. We might be available for you. Get your whole home solution. Internet, TV, and phone from a local provider. Go to signup.waveruralconnect.com or call 1-833-492-8372. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
Family. That's what sets us apart. Crabtree RV Center, founded in 1950 by E.J. and Allen Crabtree, family owned and operated, serving Arkansas for 74 years.
I've been working full-time here at Crabtree RV since 1996 after graduating from the University of Arkansas, where I'm proud to carry on my grandparents' legacy.
I know if Mom and Dad could see Crabtree RVs today, they would be so proud.
Crabtree RV Center in Alma, making your family's dreams come true for over 70 years.
Did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did. Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you.
See Agent Chris Dooley in Fort Smith.
It seems like everything is more expensive this year, but replacing your AC doesn't have to be. If you need to replace your AC this summer, before you commit, price check with Paschal. You can save money and use the professionals to replace your system. Enjoy the peace of mind knowing you chose the best option for your home. Visit gopaschal.com and with just a few clicks, see how much you can save with the Paschal price check. Paschal Air, Plumbing, and Electric.
This summer at Hardee's, the BLT gets an upgrade with the new Frisco BLT Angus Burger and Frisco BLT hand-breaded chicken sandwich. The classic flavors of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, atop a famous charbroiled burger or signature hand-breaded chicken sandwich, all between two thick slices of toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Want to jump in the conversation? Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Quick segment here as we get into the third hour of halftime in a moment. Tommy Kraft is coming up soon. And one of the things that I enjoyed on the Home Run Derby telecast yesterday, Matt, was listening to Ken Griffey Jr. talk. For one thing, it's Griffey. I think he's forgotten about sometimes as maybe not the greatest hitter of all time, but one of the greatest home run hitters of all time that was not aided chemically. 3-time Home Run Derby champion.
In the Kingdome, too. If he would have played in a different stadium, Phil, I mean, he could have had 60 more home runs, I bet, if he would have played somewhere else.
You know, so Ravitch asked him yesterday about power and where it all comes from. Does it come from your legs? Does it come from your hips? Does it come from your arms? You know, those muscles. And he said it's all a balance. And then he referred to hand strength. And he referred to, if you ever shook Willie Mays or Hank Aaron's hands, you knew where their power came from. You know, you watch videos of Aaron hitting. I'm not sure if anybody had wrists that quick and hands that strong. And I think sometimes that's forgotten in any sport, in any athlete sport where a ball is involved in it, you know, or just like, you know, hand strength on the line of scrimmage for your offensive and defensive linemen. And, you know, you, Matt, catching the ball. I mean, that's all about hand strength.
There's a thing called Country Strong, right? People use it. I don't know if they still use it anymore, but it's a true thing. You know, with kids that are 8, 9, 10, 11 years old growing up, if you're helping your pops out there on the farm, in the garden, household chores, if you're really into canoeing, like just at that age, all those type of things are, because when you text me that, I was like, you're 100% right. That forearm, that grip strength, when they get a hold of you, you can't get loose, because it really is. It's man on man. You know, it's two people going to battle, and you could see it. I guess it would be this way with Griffey, huh? Left-handed stance.
Yeah, maybe when you think of the kinetics of the swing, like everything is brought to the hands at the last moment. So it's got to be the hands. Got to be the hands.
Anquan Boldin's one of my, like you talk about. That's why I like Armstrong, Phil. He's kind of got that country. I don't even know where he's from, but he goes out and snatches that ball, and he's aggressive. It's one of the best to ever do it was Anquan Boldin.
877-377-6963 as we go into our 1 o'clock hour of halftime, and back right after this.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
Clogs? Nobody wants a clog. Westark Plumbing knows that clogs are a serious issue. They can signal that bigger problems are on the way. So contact Westark Plumbing while the problem is small. Slow shower and sink drain, gurgling toilets, and outside cleanouts making a mess? Call 479-646-5151 today. Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning since 1993. They keep you flowing. If you have slow drains or high water bills, call Westark Plumbing and expert drain cleaning service. 646-5151.
Presented by Sharp Equipment. Get hooked on Sharp Equipment this year. Sharp Equipment has hooked up with Eastern Oklahoma Guide Service for a free guided fishing trip with the purchase of any Wacker Newson equipment. Along with getting a superior piece of equipment, you will get hooked up with a free guided fishing trip for the chance at a catch of a lifetime. Visit them at Sharp Equipment, 6104 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith, or call them at 479-242-1406.
Hey, this is Dr. Charlie Liggett with River Valley Smile Center. We dial 782-8940.
Coach Todd Holland, head baseball coach of the University of Arkansas Fort Smith Lions. I call 782-8940.
Stay cool this summer with a York high-efficiency HVAC unit. Or for more information on endless hot water and high-efficiency tankless water heaters, give us a call at 782-8940.
That's 782-8940.
Get up to $6,500 off on 2024 GMC Sierras, or $4,000 off, and as low as 1.9% financing for 36 months with approved credit at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. The 2024 GMC Sierra 1500 has a 5.3-liter V8 engine, so you can conquer the road with confidence. Up to $6,500 off, or $4,000 in discounts, and as low as 1.9% financing. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. We are professional grade. Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
For today, lots of sunshine, a hot one. Highs in the mid to upper 90s. You factor in the humidity, it'll feel closer to 110. A few scattered showers and thunderstorms across the north tonight. Overnight lows in the low to mid 70s. And then a better chance of coverage of showers and storms on Wednesday. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
The weather is brought to you by Forest Grain Incorporated, committed to setting the standard of excellence since 1936.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. The Bud Light Countdown is on. Arkansas football begins in 44 days.
Coming to you live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Broadcasting on ESPN Arkansas and streaming on hitthatline.com.
We got a good one tonight. You got a team in here that doesn't respect it. If I'm all right. Watch his thing dominate, and we not doing it. We're gonna go get one and celebrate on somebody else's field. Yeah. Bill said you had very motivational words at halftime.
It's halftime with Bill Olson and Matt Jones.
From the bottom of my toes to the top of my head. My heart, dog. Let's go, man.
I have zero respect for saying no moss at halftime.
Let's aim for one Razorback. And vintage Matt Jones. Here we go. Right now, let's take the field.
Call or text 877-377-6963. Now, here's Phil Olson and Matt Jones.
Welcome back on Halftime, hour number 3, 1 minute after 1 o'clock in the afternoon on ESPN Arkansas and hitthatline.com. Phil Elson with Matt Jones. We've got C Fight Club in studios and headed to Dallas right now at Radio Row, where Tommy Kraft is joining us here for this segment. Tommy, how you doing? And who's speaking right now? Is Brent Venables up there now?
Brent Venables started about 10 minutes ago, so his first time at SEC Media Days. Ty's in there taking detailed notes, I'm sure. And Eli Drinkowitz later on this afternoon. We've already heard from Josh Heupel and Kirby Smart to start the day, so I sat through both of those 30-minute or so sessions, and of course, one of those teams is on the schedule, and guys, I'm glad Georgia's not.
Yeah, but Georgia also, I mean, they're going to get a lot of the headlines here because of, Kirby potentially the best coach in the sport right now, and really a lot of the things that are happening off the field, and specifically in vehicles involving Georgia.
Yeah.
I saw Coach Smart was asked about, financial penalties or suspensions for players. Now, Mike Gundy last week talked about not suspending Ollie Gordon, and he centered it around these guys are getting paid a lot of money to play. I think that was one of the reasons why. But in this case, Kirby's talking about the collective, or at least one of the collectives that's connected to UGA, is fining players that are part of these speeding issues and getting citations and really dangerous situations. But it's also something that he has no control over. It's just collective to player. That's interesting.
Yeah, I saw the comment. That was not made in the main room. That was in the electronic room. But to me, it takes some of the heat off the coach. I mean, these players are getting a lot of money, and Georgia's obviously had a reputation in the last couple of seasons for driving fast cars. You want to get them where it hurts, take money away. Coach doesn't have to be the bad guy now. Now the head of your collective or NIL group can be that. And I think when you're going to hand out this money at the levels they are through the NIL, they can put stipulations based on conduct. So I would imagine if Georgia's doing it, many others already are or will be soon.
Well, Georgia's still top dog in this league right now, right? I mean, Texas coming in after making a playoff visit last year. Georgia was not in the playoff last year after losing to Alabama, but they keep their coach, they keep their staff together. And I know we don't know what the preseason polls are looking like, and I'm assuming you guys got to get your votes in sometime in the next day or two. But Georgia's got to be looked at as top dog in this league right now, don't they?
Possibly in the country. I think definitely in this league, and I would be surprised. Maybe Ohio State and Georgia may split a lot of the first place votes, but I don't know too many other teams that are going to garner anywhere but a fraction of what Georgia will garner, other than maybe Ohio State. So, I think some view Georgia is taking over the post of Alabama. I think Alabama still wants to have something to say about that, but everybody presumes that Alabama's in a free fall without Saban. I don't know that that's accurate, at least not yet, but I think Georgia, based on two of the last three, they're about to enter dynasty conversation, perhaps with a win this year.
Tommy, we've been talking a little bit about OU today, and Coach Venables, I know they gave him a contract extension as they're going into the SEC. What is your overall feeling on this Oklahoma team and Coach Venables? And it is going to be, Chuck made a good point. I think we all kind of, you're not going to play Texas Tech and TCU and then be able to gear up for Texas. You got to play Ole Miss. You got to play Georgia. You got to play Tennessee. What is your feeling on OU and how they adjust to the SEC?
I just wonder if their young quarterback, Jackson Arnold, is ready for the speed of the defensive ends, how quickly the defense will be on top of you. And I just also wonder if their offensive line is because they've got like three transfer guys that are going to be starters up front. Branson Hickman is going to be their center. He's a junior transfer. both their left tackle and right guard are going to be transfers. Jake Taylor's the right tackle. He's the only one on that side back, and then Jacob Sexton. So I wonder if their offensive line is really tooled and ready. I think Oklahoma would be ready to be a top half, maybe top third defense, but I've got to wonder if they're ready offensively up front to handle what they will see. Probably at least 6, if not 7, out of their 8 SEC games that will be equal or better than what you see in the Big 12.
Who is who's speaking this afternoon, Tommy?
You got Eli Drinkowitz,
okay,
and Brent Venables going right now talking about the Sooners. So I'll be interested to see how mouthy maybe Eli will be. Obviously, has earned the right to talk a little bit. Their schedule's set up with, I think they got Alabama and Texas on their schedule. So 2 difficult games, one at home, one on the road. But they avoid a lot of other teams in this league, and I think Missouri's going to be a team that gets a lot of consideration, guys, for top 2, 3 in this league. They won't surpass Georgia. They probably won't get the votes Texas will get. But if you told me that, hey, come December, Missouri's going to be a team that sneaks their way into Atlanta based on a tiebreaker system that's not even finalized yet, I wouldn't call you completely crazy.
I think Missouri's biggest thing that they had going for them last year, I like their quarterback play, but their running back, Schrader, I think he was second in the country running. Who is going to be their running back? And you just brought up Oklahoma's offensive line. How does that work with? I know it helps when you got a wide out, you got a receiver that's a stud. I think Courtney Crutchfield's going to play early for them as well. So it kind of opens up some running lanes. But I wonder, is it going to be by committee, or are they going to have a stud running back this year?
Yeah, and just kind of looking at how they came out after spring, they got that Marcus Carroll kid that transferred in, and then in fact they're about 2 deep there. Carroll, let's see, he played at Georgia State, so he's coming up quite a bit in class. And then you look at Nate Noel, I'm not exactly sure how you say his last name, but he came from App State, which is something obviously Eli Drinkowitz is familiar with. So that's kind of who they depth charted at 1 and 2 out of the spring at running back, and neither one were in the program last year.
Now, we'll get back to some SEC, but while I got you on here, Tommy, I got to ask you about the Open Championship coming up in the Old Course, and I watched the Scottish Open. It seems like that's been gaining a little momentum the last handful of years, but I'd watched it last year and then watched it this year, and what Robert McIntyre did after last year with Rory birding the 18. He birdied the 18 with that. Saw Adam Scott. It was good to see him doing his thing a little bit this year too. But what are your thoughts going in to the Old Course in the Open Championship? Who do you got?
At Royal Troon, yeah. It's I don't know who I've got yet. I think there's I kind of like some of these Americans do very well there. I'd look down in the top 10 like Harmon, some of those guys. I don't think it will be Rory. I think it wouldn't surprise me if Rory's in contention, but I think maybe it'll be maybe a newcomer to the circle this year. I was looking at that postage hole. I was watching some of the Golf Channel, that postage stamp hole where it's like 128 yards, but it's a extremely small green. So I think it's going to be fun. I love this event because it's on while we're on, and starts tomorrow morning. And I think it's going to be a great watch. Brian Harmon's going to be my pick right now.
I like it. Thingala, he's one. He's a new up-and-comer that's been doing well. I've been watching him play, but I tend to agree with you about Rory. He seems to be on that front page of the leaderboard a lot this year, but for some reason just can't close the deal.
He's had a lot of stuff going on personally last 2 years, trying to be the face for the PGA Tour. Clearly that has, I don't know if that was the cause of the marital strife, but that will distract any dude anywhere trying to be at their best. So maybe he's got all right in his world, some of that PGA and LIV stuff settled down, and seems to be settling down at home from what we know publicly. So maybe I kind of root for Rory. I was certainly rooting for him in the U.S. Open. I wanted him to win. So, but I don't think it'll be Koepka or DeChambeau, but who knows.
You about an hour and 10 minutes get to hear from Eli Drinkwitz. He has. I think he He likes to try to be entertaining. I think he entertains his fans, the Missouri fans. I'm not sure if there's many Arkansas fans that are entertained by him, but
Maybe himself.
He's one of those. Yeah, he's one of those coaches who does like to get up there and speak. He doesn't seem shy about it at all, or just cracking a few jokes every once in a while that might not really be all that funny.
Yeah. The other thing I've noticed with the coaches so far this week, I guess it's a requirement to be up on the shoe game. Every one of these coaches wearing a really nice suit, and then they got a really nice pair of Nikes or some tennis shoes on. Heupel had a kind of a matching pair of tennis shoes. Kirby had the same thing earlier. I noticed the same thing yesterday. So I haven't been in there to see what Venables is sporting, but I think maybe to be in touch with your players and be relevant in the recruiting game, you got to be strong, Phil, in the shoe game. Apparently, because I've seen a strong shoe game from everyone so far this week.
Same with Jaylen Brown, Phil. You got to be Adidas, Nike can leave you off the Olympic team, it seems like, which I don't think that's the true case, but there's a little bit of smoke about that.
Shoe game's a big thing right now. It's like you see even before games at Bud Walton Arena, they will show you the shoes that every player is wearing for the men's and the women's and the coaches and everything. And, it's the pregame fit. They all get photos for that too. So it's all now about the pre-press conference fit, I guess, today.
Yeah. Kirby spent some time, he said he likes to study business and study businesses in the offseason. Nike was his target this year. And they went out and spent time with some of the leadership at Nike and Phil Knight. And one phrase he brought into today, he said he took away from there was assume nothing. Assume nothing. And where he took that back to his football team is, hey, just because we were at this level last year, we're going to assume nothing about the players this year or the new players on our team or how they performed last year translate to this year. He said that has helped kind of reset everything. So, I don't know how you permeate that completely, Matt, through an 85-man roster, but I kind of like the message of, hey, we're not going to assume anybody's doing anything. You're going to have to go out here on the field, do the work, get in the weight room, do the work, and prove it. And I kind of like the message he was given this morning about assume nothing.
No, that's I love that. Tommy, Coach David Lee, a quarterback coach of mine, had that same thing when we came into to quarterback meetings. It was, I'm going to assume you don't know anything, and we're going to start. I want you to draw me a 7-man box, A gaps covered. I want you to draw me cover through. We're starting back from the basics when you get in there, and then you take it from there. So I dig it totally.
Yeah. Another thing I made a note of when Josh Heupel was speaking, this was just kind of a off comment, just kind of a flippant remark he made, but he made the mention that they have, and keep in mind they see 107,000 something like that at their home stadium at Neyland Stadium. They have 15,000 people on the waiting list for season tickets.
That's wild.
15,000. I mean, they raised $63 million last year for their NIL fund. So, I mean, we talk about levelized playing fields. We're nowhere near level or approaching level when you're talking about those kind of numbers.
I don't know if they'll ever be a level playing field, even if they're all playing from the same amount of salary that they'll be able to pay the players, because I think NIL will always be an aspect of this. And you mentioned Phil Knight a moment ago. Did you see last week he says he's so desperate for Oregon to win a championship while he's alive that he has unlimited NIL for Oregon. They don't even need an organization. Meanwhile, at Arkansas, they're switching executive directors. There's 782 members, according to the Democrat Gazette article, on a drive to 5,000. That means it'll take over 3 more years at this rate to get to 5,000.
With no attrition.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, so the arms race becomes evident, and we haven't heard from Texas or Texas A&M, or we heard from Georgia. They're in the upper echelon, but even Georgia, I don't think financially, while they're well heeled, they're not A&M. They're not Texas. I mean, where the pockets run, into the hundreds of millions deep every year.
And I'll say something, and this might just be a small thing, but if you want more NIL money, let's keep our in-state guys in-state.
Yeah,
that might be just a little bit of a thing that might help.
But what's the other common denominator there? They got winning football programs that are, in conversations. And I think when you talk about Tennessee, that number of $63 million, why not as large as others? That surprised me. Plus, they have a winning men's basketball program, a historic women's basketball program, a national championship baseball program, and a football program that's won 20 games in 2 years. You want to get serious money given to your NIL? that's how you do it.
Tommy, we'll leave it there. We'll revisit with you next week. Have a good rest of the day. Hope you enjoy it.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Tommy.
Tommy Kraft is at SEC Media Days, and our coverage is presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback in Fayetteville. Locally owned and operated by a family of Arkansas alumni, they have the largest selection of Razorback merchandise south of the North Pole. You won't find any place that's more Razorback than the Stadium Shop on Razorback. ShopOnRazorback.com. Back with more halftime in just a moment.
This is halftime.
Touchdown, Arkansas! We fought back. We took a punch, and we answered back. He's going to go! Johnson's at midfield, and there he goes! 98 yards. Team, I saw it, but I'm not sure I believe it.
Listen to every Razorback football game this season right here on ESPN 95.3 and hitthatline.com.
And we're back with the action. Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an irresistible taste and zero sugar, Coke Zero Sugar is a must-try for any sports fan. So make sure you... Wait, Jim, I didn't mean try it right now. We're still on the air.
Best Coke ever? Take a taste, Jen.
Really?
No, not right now, Jen. We got a game to call.
Sometimes I'm in a hurry. Stay in the slow lane, buddy. That's when I use the Sodies app to order my favorites and pick up in their drive-thru. They even offer a 10% discount on your first app order. Experience different at Sodies Wine and Spirits off I-540 on Phoenix Avenue.
Every day is worth celebrating at Uncorked. Cocktails, wine, craft beer, bourbons, and unbelievably great food. Uncorked on Phoenix Avenue next to Sodies.
Do you need help with your next project? Metters Lumber True Value is here to help. A family-owned business since 1936, the staff has more than 90 years of experience in construction and the hardware business. If they don't have what you need, they know how to get it, and they are more than happy to accommodate your special order. So whether it's building a new deck, a paint project around the house, or needing a new set of tools, Metters Lumber True Value has everything you need. With locations in Alma, Ozark, and Clarksville, and you can shop online at metterslumber.com. Metters Lumber True Value.
There's more to a tractor than just horsepower. A tractor also needs weight to get that horsepower to the ground. With TYM, a heavier tractor comes standard. Many of the TYM models weigh more for the horsepower than comparable tractors from the big names, and tractors that weigh more do more. See Bush Tractor at their new location at 6100 South Zero in Fort Smith, or log on to bushtractor.com to see how they can upgrade your productivity.
When you need legal help, turn to the law offices of Craig L. Cook. With over 40 years combined experience, the Cook Law Team works for you. If you've been injured in an auto accident, hurt on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help with bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
Are you an angler having trouble finding all the bait, tackle, and more for your fishing needs? Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, now located in Fort Smith next to Witts Marine on North 11th Street, is your place. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle also has the largest selection of plastics in the River Valley. Reactor Innovation, Bobby Garland, Zoom, Mega Bass, and more. Check out the Daiwa Rod and Reels. Make a Wake Bait and Tackle, 803 North 11th Street at Fort Smith, 479-926-9320. Also get your rod and reels repaired. Come see us next to Witts Marine at Make a Wake Bait and Tackle.
Missing or broken teeth? Sharp Smiles wants you to start chewing again with dental implants. Scared of the dentist? Sharp Smiles will help you overcome your fear. Big dental problems? Sharp Smiles Modern Dentistry and Implants is your answer to your dental needs and services, where your smile is top priority. Get the smile you have always wanted from the friendly faces at Sharp Smiles, 2600 Market Trace, Suite B, off Jenny Lind across from Harps. For more information, visit the website at sharpsmilesdds.com or call 648-9988.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
If I could turn the page, time cannot be arranged. Just to take close my eyes. but I couldn't find a way. So I'll never fall one day to believe in you. Tell me. Tell me, sweet little lies. Tell me lies. You can't disguise. You can't disguise. Tell me, sweet little lies.
Find Halftime on 99.5 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith and the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs and Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Join the conversation. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to the hosts. Here's Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Back on Halftime, we have there's a statement, or I guess it's an Instagram message, a post, a tweet from Ingrid Andress. She's the young lady, the country performer who sang the anthem last night. That's got everybody up in arms at the Home Run Derby. This comes right from her Instagram account. She says she was drunk last night and that she is checking herself into a facility to get the help she needs. So the full statement continues. That was not me last night. I apologize to MLB, all the fans, and this country I love so much for that rendition. I'll let y'all know how rehab is. I hear it's super fun. XO Ingrid. So I wasn't really joking earlier when I said she had to either been incredibly nervous to where those nerves affected her performance, or she was stoned or drunk, because it doesn't make any sense for a 4-time Grammy-nominated superstar or star to sound the way she did last night. And it turns out, as she says, she was drunk. I hope she'll get the help she needs, and I hope it works for her.
Maybe Morgan Wallen can help her out. That was they can. You blame her handlers, not as much as her. You know, she's got to have a team around her. It's like somebody be aware a little bit, and then after you're over with, then yeah, go celebrate. But like, you gotta who is her team? Because a lady like that, she not just walking around by herself. She has 5 people around her at all times that are with her and helping her and just doing, you know, that have her best interests at heart. And it seems like that didn't happen.
Now, look, I'm not a musician or a performer up on stage, and I know there's plenty of musicians that might have a drink or two to loosen up to get the performance juice going inside of you. But again, it's just looking at her face when you watch the performance, it just something wasn't quite right, and now we have the answer to it. So I hope she's going to be okay. Let's see here. The draft has resumed. And we do have a couple of players that have connections to Arkansas baseball. Eli Lovich has been drafted by the Cubs. That's Ross's younger brother, who is an outfielder out of around the Kansas City area. He's an 11th round pick, so it's a $150,000 bonus. Or if they offer him more than that, then it comes off of the bonus pool the Cubs got for the first 10 rounds. So usually if you're drafted 11th round out of high school, I think the expectation is you sign. The other one that was drafted is Jake Faraday, Razorback reliever who barely got on the mound as a freshman or a sophomore, but was out there quite a bit this last year. And man, lightning arm, long legs, long arms, has the kind of stuff where you could legitimately see him being a back end of the bullpen guy if he can command his stuff the way he showed at times this year. The thing about Faraday that stands out is the movement, the arm side run that he gets with a slider that can wipe out sometimes. I think he's an intriguing prospect. But I would assume, and the Marlins took him, by the way, 11th round, I would assume that if they took him, that he will take his chance and sign. And it's $150,000. I'd be surprised if the Marlins offer more than that. And yeah, these picks just come fast and furious, man. Since I started this segment, there have been 7 picks. So that's about 5 minutes or so. This thing will be over by the time Ruskin and Zach are probably into the second hour of halftime today. 877-377-6963 for calls and texts on our hotline. One thing you never know when you get to the draft, though, Matt, is who's going to be stupid enough to cause an injury that was unnecessary. I don't know if you saw about a couple of these baseball injuries recently that, by the way, have nothing to do with the game itself. Last week, it was Cubs pitcher Colton Brewer breaking his left hand, punching a wall after he was taken out of the game.
Oh.
At least he didn't break his pitching hand. That's a very important lesson from Crash Davis. And then this past Saturday, Miami outfielder Dane Myers fractured his left foot after he was ejected and then went into the clubhouse and kicked the door. So, just maybe not hitting things. Scream at the top of your lungs might help. But then again, I saw Dustin May is out for the season with a torn esophagus. Now, what kind of a sports injury is that?
The worst kind.
Yes.
Man. Yeah. They teach you that stuff at a young age. I remember being at a football practice field, being 7th, 8th grade, 9th grade when my pops was a coach, and you would have kids kind of getting into arguments and they start throwing fists, but he's like, how stupid are you? You're going to punch somebody with their helmet on, then you're going to break your hand, and now you can't play football the rest of the season, So kind of got to learn to control that a little bit, especially as you get older. You would think that they would.
Now, I did have a pitcher with the Travelers that was taken out of a game, and he did break his pitching hand punching a locker. He was a prospect at that point, and once he came back from the injury, he was never the same. I mean, that is legitimately, you want to break a hand, don't have it be your pitching hand or your throwing hand. I've seen it firsthand that you can't do that. I think maybe one of the stupidest football injuries I remember, Matt. You remember Gus Frerotte?
Martin Gramatica. Oh, yeah. Gus Frerotte did the headbutt after the touchdown. Yeah.
Scores a touch. I think he was with Washington at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gus Frerotte scores a touchdown and headbutts the wall. Mm-hmm. With a helmet. The helmet's going to save you from any injury, right?
Don't remember him playing ever again after that. He might have took some snaps, but that was the end of it, wasn't it? That was it.
I love that. Think of the quick thought process that goes through a person's mind when they think that they're about to do this. Now, I ran my head into a wall a couple of times on purpose as a fraternity brother when I did some stupid stuff. I don't know if I could say there was much thought process behind that. But Gus Frerotte probably didn't have in his system what I would have had in my system at that moment. So what's the thought process? I'm wearing a helmet. I'll take out a tackler by putting my head down. This wall's got nothing on a defensive tackle in the NFL. As strong and big as defensive tackles in pro football are, Matt, the wall will win every time.
Concrete. Yeah.
That's absolutely right. 877-377-6963 when you want to get with us. And speaking of the NFL, if you think you've got what it takes to eat a Monster Burger in 150 seconds or less, you can qualify for the football trip of a lifetime to see the Cowboys take on the Eagles, and that's at AT&T Stadium this year. We have our first qualifying round for the football trip of a lifetime this Thursday. It's at Hardee's at the Phoenix Avenue location in Fort Smith. Starts at 11 o'clock in the morning, goes through 1 o'clock, so it's right during halftime. You eat the Monster Burger in 150 seconds or less, and you qualify. The finals will be later on. This is the 19th annual football trip of a lifetime brought to you by Hardee's, ESPN Arkansas, and hitthatline.com. Stop by Hardee's 11 to 1 Thursday, 1820 Phoenix Avenue, Fort Smith, and snarf that thing down. Right back to talk with Bill King. Well, we do have a couple of callers on hold, so let's take some phone calls before we take our break. We've got Lane in Cave City up with us first. Lane, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, Mr. Phil. How are you, Mr. Matt, today?
Very good, thank you.
No, I just got a question. Just want to see what y'all's opinion is. So, going back 10 years, kind of before the NIL and all that kind of come around, do you think Arkansas football missed their opportunity to kind of build the program and get back into relevant before NIL and stuff come around? Or do you think we might have a better opportunity with NIL and everything that's going around now if we do get our NIL and all that in order?
That's an interesting question. I do think that the winning, it's like you would like your program to be in a certain place when NIL became such a force that it's become. And that hadn't necessarily been the case. So it's not about luck. It might be about like where your program was when NIL started. And, NIL started, a year and a half ago? Year ago, really? It's not the best place for NIL to take over for a place like Arkansas.
I really like our D coordinator, and I honestly think we're a quarterback away. I think you get the right quarterback in here that you can get for 2 or 3 years, and I think those recruits will follow. I think you'll get just a little bit of an extra player because people want to win, and so you get that. Who's the last quarterback we've had? Is it Brandon Allen, the last guy that went to the NFL? I know Mallett did, but Brandon Allen was after Mallett, right? Like, it's been a while since we've had a legitimate quarterback that's going to go play on Sundays, and I think that'll help.
I think Felipe Franks got there, but I don't
he was
know
a transfer that came in, played for a year.
And he switched to tight end, if I remember.
He's not a
quarterback.
quarterback. Yeah, he's.
Appreciate that phone call from Lane. Big Keith is up next, and then we'll break. Hey, Big Keith, what's going on?
Hey, Big Keith up in the house. How you guys doing today?
Good, thank you.
Big Keith.
Hey, Matt. I know you guys are going to have to go, so I have like 2 or 3 things I was going to talk about, but I'll just say this one thing. You talking about the national anthem. That girl, she was pretty bad, but still she was better than Roseanne Barr, when she sang it.
Agreed.
So,
She didn't grab her crotch either.
Yeah, so thank you.
Okay, thanks, Big Keith. Yeah, that's always the one that goes along with it. And I think that was set up because that was at a Padres game. The man who owned the Padres might have been the chairman of ABC Television Network. That's where the Roseanne show was airing then. And I think that's how she got on the field. I think that's how she actually did sing the anthem, which happened once. And yes, that one is the worst. And the crotch grab at the end might be one reason why.
It's about like kneeling at the national anthem for a football game. It's kind of the same. How do you disrespect it like that? I mean, it was total disrespect to your country. It was not cool.
Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio will be with us right after this break.
This is Halftime.
ESPN Arkansas is kicking off college football live from Radio Row in Dallas, Texas at SEC Media Days. Our shows provide insight on player and coach interviews, including special moments throughout the entire week. Make sure to tune in to the Morning Rush, Halftime, and Ruskin and Zach to get this unique coverage presented by the Stadium Shop on Razorback, WT Equipment, and Limbird Real Estate Group. You can now download our new app in the iTunes or Google Play Store. Listen anytime and anywhere on your favorite mobile device. Just search Hit That Line now.
Hog fans, this is Matt.
This is Robert.
And this is Elizabeth, and we're with the Stadium Shop on Razorback.
The only local, family, and alumni-owned Razorback store.
Yep, our names are on Senior Walk, and we understand what that charging Razorback means.
From new students to season ticket holders, we have everything you need.
From floor coverings, wall art, game room items, and other stuff to decorate your home or dorm room.
To things for your pet or all sorts of clothing, we have it all.
We feature brands like Champion, Cutter & Buck, Tommy Bahama, Columbia, and many, many others, all in the largest Razorback store south of the North Pole.
You know, your dad's side's starting to go viral.
Hey, what is that a new thing? Can I get a pill or a shot for that?
Anyway, you can call us at 479-STADIUM or 479-782-3486.
Or drop by the store at 989 South Razorback Road next to Baum Walker Stadium in Fayetteville. Or if you need to, you can shop us online at them Gram things.
Dad, let me do this. What he means is our website, which is shoponrazorback.com.
Folks, it does not get more Razorback than us.
Go
Hogs.
You're listening to Halftime Live from the Crabtree RV Center studios. Crabtree RV Center, where RVing is life.
Let's see. Leaky faucet Tuesday. Water flooding the yard. Better put that down for the...
This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned. Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Thanks for watching us here on ESPN Arkansas. Download the brand new Hit That Line Now app in the Apple and Google Play stores. ESPN Arkansas. More than just radio stations.
Tommy Kraft here. When it came time for new gates and some fence repairs at my home, the Fence Man was my first call. The Fence Man does it all, from large commercial jobs to small residential repairs. Wood privacy fence, vinyl fence, commercial or residential chain link, even custom wrought iron fencing. 479-782-3936. 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit is now available. If it involves fencing, the Fence Man does it. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work. 479-782-3936.
It's a dandy white perch. Big old slab.
C'est bon, Sakale.
One beautiful crappie.
It's a paper mouse. Some serious crappie. Nice speck.
We got crappie.
They might go by different names, but all prefer the same thing. Bobby Garland, America's favorite. White perch, slab, sockeye, papermouth, crappie, speck, crappie baits.
I call it dinner.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your sports betting needs this season. From baseball, golf, soccer, right to all the top fights in UFC, MMA, and boxing. Every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads while the games are being played. When the game's over, head over to our online casino and get in on a game of blackjack or poker or unwind with one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get in on the action. Use promo code BELIEVE for your 50% free bet credit on your first deposit up to $250. Bet online. The game starts here.
This song hit number 2 without one guitar. Gary Wright traveled with George Harrison to India for spiritual enlightenment and wrote Dream Weaver, describing God as infinite love and compassion, seeing him through the trials of the night. Of the 330 million gods of Hinduism, not one will get you to the morning light, but only through the blood of Jesus Christ. Satan is a master deceiver, weaving many into make-believers. I'm Pastor Heath from Woodland. Think about it.
Hey, ESPN 96.3 and hitthatline.com. Have you been to Swart Liquor? Trey Gentry and his team have a phenomenal spot. It's the first liquor stop in Arkansas for our Dallas and Texas fans traveling up to the hill. So if you're heading to Fayetteville, the lake, a cabin weekend, hunting, fishing, or any other activity you need your favorite drink, stop by Swart Liquor. And check out their apparel too. You'll want to wear it. Swart Liquor, 864 East Colin Ray Drive in Queen, Arkansas. Swart Liquor, we promise to keep them cold for you.
ESPN 95.3.
That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life. And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. But I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine world, it keeps spinning around.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Call or text 877-377-6963. Now back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones.
Headed over to our hotline, get a chance to talk for a little bit here with Bill King from Nashville Sports Radio, the king of college football talk, and hosting 6 to 9 on WNSR. And always appreciate your time today, Bill. How are you?
Hey, guys. Doing well.
Good. SEC Media Days are going through here. I know you and I have talked about Media Days quite a bit, and I think you used to attend those. Might not mean necessarily the same, though, but this year's a little bit different because it's, once you get to the Big Ten Media Days, you get the 4 new schools coming in, the ACC with their kickoff. We'll wonder if that league can stay together. And the SEC, it feels like rolling out the red carpet for Texas and Oklahoma this week.
Yeah, I did almost 30 of them, guys. And I have done a media days in Dallas, but it was the Big 12, and I was interviewing Bob Stoops, Charlie Weiss, Art Briles, names, Tuberville, names like that. So I've been in Dallas, but not for that event, not the SEC, first one there. But, guys, I first did media day in 88, I believe. And my first year was Emmitt Smith year. And I was the first radio station to ever set up at the SEC football. There was nobody else. It was one station. Now there's, I guess, a million of them. But, yeah, I've watched a little bit of it, guys. Frankly, I don't want to dampen the atmosphere, but I'm glad I'm not doing anymore. I did enough.
Well, going on in the background of all these media days are potential machinations to essentially blow up the ACC. Seems to be a lot of smoke coming from people that, a year ago were reporting about movement out of the Pac-12, and they were proved to be right about that. And there is a lot of smoke right now about Florida State and Clemson maybe into the Big 12. Do you know anything about this? Are you buying what this, smoke might be leading to?
No. The math makes no sense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say never. But why would you leave a league, the ACC, that's got a contract through 2036? Now, there's ways that contract might implode, but technically, long-term contract, which pays $35 a year to each school, for a league that's maybe paying $40, and you're probably going to need a $200 million buyout. Makes no sense at all. That math does not equal the math education I've got. They want to join the Big Ten or the SEC. That's clear, and that right now is not available for them and probably isn't going to become available. The only way you would leave the ACC to join that league would be for safety, and it would be because the league you're in is going to implode, and you better get the heck out of it. I don't think that league's about to implode.
Hey, Bill, in the first month of the season, let's just talk about September, and I'm kind of looking at Tennessee OU matchup. That's going to be OU's first game into the conference. Is there a bigger game in September? What are some of your early matchups you're looking forward to?
Well, I think that early on you got Notre Dame A&M, you have Miami versus Florida. You've got some really good early matchups. You've got an early matchup with LSU and Southern Cal. There's a bunch of them. But, yeah, that one's got a lot of storylines because Josh Heupel was a fantastic quarterback for them. Early 2000s on a wonderful team, and later was the coordinator and got fired there. A lot of good side stories there. Tennessee's got Nico Iamaleava. I think as good a young prospect at quarterback as anybody's got in America. Oklahoma's got a former five-star young quarterback, too, that they're very high on. That one's going to be interesting, and the game is in Oklahoma. That'll be fun.
Man, there are some really interesting non-conference games in that first month, and then there's some others where it's like you would expect this team to walk over them, like Mizzou against Boston College, like Mississippi State against Arizona State. I don't know much about Wake Forest right now, but Ole Miss traveling to Winston-Salem could be an interesting game. Bill, if you're looking at Arkansas, Oklahoma State, second week with as many players that Oklahoma State has coming back from 10 wins last year, and man, they really got going after the first month last season. That is, Arkansas's got a tough schedule, and man, there might not be a tougher game than going to Stillwater playing Oklahoma State.
Inside the toughest league in America, Arkansas, and then you have to go play that group. Very well coached, very well developed, no doubt about it. I would not want that on my schedule. No.
What about, do you think there's any chance of a slip up week 2 that same week, Phil and Bill? You got Texas going to the Big House to take on the Blue of Michigan. Any way Texas lays an egg early in the season?
Have to be a really grind them down ball game where Texas playmakers are either not fundamentally sound that day, turnovers, and it's a Michigan grinder. Can't be pointsy either. Can't get up into points. That's the only recipe I see. Now, Michigan's going to be salty on defense. They're very good, and they've got some personnel back from that same team. One of the best corners, if it's not Benjamin Morrison, it's the corner at Michigan. They're still stout on the defensive front, but Texas, athlete on athlete, ought to win that game.
I didn't realize this, but I just looked up the Texas football schedules. Over the next 4 years, they play Michigan or Ohio State each of the next 4 years. The home and home with Michigan, they'll get the return game in 27. They play Ohio State back-to-back seasons, 2025 and 2026. They just came off a home and home with Alabama. Now they're in the SEC. You got to give it to them for these schedules.
Yeah, and how many teams in America can say they put better personnel on the field than Texas in its current form? And the answer is probably not 5. Ohio State would be one you would argue. You'd argue Georgia. You'd argue Alabama. But there aren't many.
Last year, it seemed like, you had Junkins at Ole Miss, but Brock Bowers was kind of the consensus skill player that was the best athlete, best player. Who's your couple best players that are going to have the ball in their hand, whether they be a tight end or receiver in the SEC this year?
I think we talked about it a week or so ago, but Luther Burden would absolutely be one of them. He's a first-team All-American at Missouri. He's a first-round draft pick. He is a brutal green grass matchup. You're not going to match up with him in green grass. I'd say he is the one that probably stands out the most to me of all the ones. And there'll be others, but I don't think one immediately when you ask me that, my brain immediately goes to Luther Burden in Missouri.
That was a commit when they got him. That was, Mizzou was still kind of in a mediocre place at that point. Getting Burden huge for them, and of course he's been as good as advertised, so that has to be a part of it.
Well, and after his first year, there was a lot of talk about him getting out of there because of the NIL and the transfer portal, and I am 100% positive he got a lot of money thrown at him. But that's about the time they decided that we're a big player, and that's about the time the switch flipped, because their other receiver who was so good transferred to Georgia. Now, he's not Luther Burden, but he was a player that everybody wanted, and he has not played that well yet. But I think that is a key moment. Everybody wants to know what happened with Missouri. I think somewhere in there, in that swath of time, they decided, and of course, new legislation inside the state. But about then is when it became real for them.
Last thing, we'd had a text in from a listener. JT wanted to ask, do you think that Arkansas needs to model the program after Oklahoma State? It's get good players, 3-star, maybe 4-star sometimes, and develop them. I guess the difference would be, you're talking about developing and playing them in the Big 12. SEC is a little bit different, but there's also just a sense of envy of a program that just finds ways to win a lot of games under Coach Gundy.
Well, and to the texter there, that's a good idea, but that's just on paper. You've got to be able to, number one, identify players who might not be Georgia, Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, but you develop them and project them in that direction. That is an incredibly difficult art form to master. Just because the guy at Oklahoma, the mullet at Oklahoma State does it, doesn't mean that photocopies for everybody. It's a good idea. It's very difficult to replicate.
Yeah, sounds good in theory. You're right. Bill, we'll leave it there. I appreciate you, man. Have a great rest of the week.
Hey, guys.
Thanks, Bill.
Appreciate it, guys.
Bill King, Nashville Sports Radio. He is with us each Tuesday on Halftime. And our SEC Media Days coverage presented by Limbird Real Estate Group, serving all of Northwest Arkansas, Missouri, and the River Valley. Get a cash offer on your home in 72 hours. LimberdTeam.com for more information. Back to wrap up the show in just a moment.
Jones, don't be so cool, dude.
This is Halftime.
Hot summer soon gives way to fall hunting season. And with the new Arkansas Early Bow Hunt, now is the time to get your new Hoyt Alpha X or the Carbon RX-8 dialed in. Check out the new Lift compounds from Matthews, the bow that puts aluminum in a new light. Sub 4 pounds and shooting 348 feet per second. Jelco Outdoors, your full-line archery store in the River Valley. Get ready for fall bow hunting at Jelco Outdoors, 4600 South Zero in Fort Smith. Drive a compact SUV that has more style, power, and technology with the 2023 Buick Envision at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Right now, get up to $3,500 in discounts and financing as low as 0.9% for 36 months with approved credit. Plus, get state sales tax paid on all remaining 2023 models in stock. The Buick Envision. It's all about you and designed to inspire. Experience the new Buick at Harry Robinson Buick GMC. Exit 11 off of I-540 in Fort Smith.
Summer is here and adventure is calling. Visit Southern Tire Mart for a new set of Yokohama tires to get your vehicle ready for summer travels. Southern Tire Mart is your trusted partner for top quality tires, professional services, and competitive pricing. Visit us in Fort Smith at 9700 Highway 271 and let Southern Tire Mart ensure your vehicle is ready for the open road. Southern Tire Mart is a proud dealer of Yokohama tires. We keep America rolling.
This is Chuck Fawcett with Chuck Fawcett Realty. When I have a HVAC problem or a plumbing problem, I call 782-8940. That's 782-8940. Blaylock Heating and Air.
So to have a red truck rolling your way today, give us a call. That's Blaylock Heating and Air Conditioning for all of your heating, cooling, plumbing, and drain cleaning needs and great York Home products. It's just one number you need to know. That's 782-8940.
Attention, this happens fast. You're on the forklift in your warehouse when it breaks down. You call Medley Equipment Company. Talk to Debbie. Hello. Debbie tells you they'll get you moving again. Debbie talks to a service tech. Yep, I can do it. Tech says when they can be there. That nice Debbie lady calls you back. Hello. Saying your forklift will be fixed in a few hours. Nice. Pretty fast, right? We're just trying to keep up because Medley keeps you moving.
I'm branch manager Dennis Mabry. Visit medleycompany.com or see us at 4001 Harper Avenue, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Let me grab my car keys and we'll roll.
Are we still going to that new bar downtown?
Yeah, it's supposed to be fun. Lexi, give me driving directions from home to downtown Bar District.
Autocorrect. Suggest Uber. Pickup. Home. Drop off downtown Bar District.
No, I'm driving.
Suggest the Metro bus. Departing in 12 minutes.
Point taken, Lexi. We'll grab a ride.
If you drink, don't drive. Decide to ride. Brought to you in partnership by Anheuser-Busch, Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and Uber.
This summer at Hardee's, the BLT gets an upgrade with the new Frisco BLT Angus Burger and Frisco BLT hand-breaded chicken sandwich. The classic flavors of bacon, lettuce, and tomato, atop a famous charbroiled burger or signature hand-breaded chicken sandwich, all between two thick slices of toasted sourdough. Only for a limited time at Hardee's. Goodness in the making. Order ahead on the Hardee's app. Participation may vary. Exclusions apply by time of day.
Before you buy that next car or truck, stop by Broadway Motors in Van Buren. The best of the best for 2 straight years. Michael and his team offer the best prices on the best quality pre-owned vehicles in the River Valley. They invite you to stop by and check it out for yourself. Or if you prefer to check out their inventory online or even do your financing online. Michael has built his reputation as a husband, father, and owner-operator since 2006. Broadway Motors, 806 Broadway in Van Buren, or online at BroadwayMotorsAR.com.
Your home for every Razorback football, basketball, and baseball game. ESPN 95.3.
If you wanna see the blues and you know it don't come easy, you don't have to shout about, you can even play them easy. Forget about the past and all your sorrow. Future won't last. It will soon be your tomorrow.
Welcome back to Halftime with Phil Elson and Matt Jones. Got a question or comment for the guys? Call or text 877-377-6963. Let's get back to the show with the voice of Arkansas Razorback baseball, Phil Elson, and Razorback football legend Matt Jones.
Yeah, some of these things work out, though, with the All-Star game tonight. Bet Saracen's got the National League favored -1.5, but on the money line, it's the American League that's -120. Go figure. Various prop bets on the All-Star game. Both teams to record a hit in the first inning, +200. Either team to win the first inning, 1-0, +350. If the game features more than 12 runs and it goes just 9 innings, +450. That's all on the Bet Saracen app. Make sure you're only inside the state of Arkansas to use it. Download from the App Store for Apple users, Google Play for Android, any web browser, betsaracen.com. 7 o'clock first pitch. And we'll be right here on ESPN Arkansas tonight. And, Paul Skeens, Corbin Burns, the starting pitchers. And hopefully I'm sure it'll be an entertaining game. Should be a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to watching that. Outside of that, I don't know what other sports are going on tonight,
Well, you get the Open that starts tomorrow morning early because they're 6 hours ahead of time, so that's going to be starting pretty
What's
soon.
tomorrow? Isn't the first round Thursday?
Oh, I'm sorry, Thursday. Yeah, you're right. I thought today was Wednesday. Hey, do we get Fisherman Clay Henry tomorrow?
Yeah, Clay is on with us tomorrow. He was listening in the last segment. He said the Oklahoma State model includes recruiting 50 players out of Texas. I went on the Oklahoma State roster page just a moment ago. They have 49 players from Texas. So that's got to be part of the equation. If you want to model yourself like Oklahoma State, then most of your players have to come from Texas.
I think it should help Arkansas recruit the state of Texas now that you're playing Texas and Texas A&M every year. So that should be beneficial. Texas is such a talented pool. Why are we? How many do we not have? 15 players? We should be up there too.
Well, I did not do the counting on that, Matt, but I can do that and report back with you tomorrow. Will that be sufficient?
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, man. We're going to have a good show tomorrow.
Got that right. We've had nothing but 2 great shows so far this week. They probably both won some awards that I'm not aware exist, but they're out there somewhere. If you missed the show, Eastside Liquor Halftime Podcast has all of our highlights, with basically these last 3 hours were nothing but highlights. Ruskin and Zach have a lot of highlights coming for you from 2 o'clock, 7 o'clock All-Star Game, and we're back with you tomorrow. For Matt Jones, for Christian Johnston, I'm Phil. That's halftime. Get up, get out, and get better.